Dracula.
This ain't no Blade.
Dracula.
This ain't Blade 2 either. Blade 3, son.
Was that the good one?
Yeah, Blade 3 with Ryan Reynolds and Triple H.
It was all good.
Yeah, dude, that was the son. That was the one.
Oh
yeah,
good.
all three amazing
You know
trilogy.
It sucked because it was a movie that Triple H was in. And we're back! Episode 93. Jordan didn't know. Brian kind of knew.
No, I didn't know. I missed it completely. I didn't even hear it. I was actually looking at my phone, so I'm completely oblivious to whatever just happened.
I love it. Yeah, just sneak it in there. We're already a minute and a half in, so everything you just said, all that awful shit is included in the show. Perfect. It's great. It's great. We're live and direct. Shouts to Jordan Tupper in the comments. Shouts to our boy Yikes Daniel. It is story time today on the show. It's gonna be good.
We're actually live. I thought we were just pre-record. I thought this was a pre-record.
And we're back. Jordan's smoking on something. Dave's smoking on some presidential. What is that? The George Bush, the George Kush, that Obama, that George Clinton.
It's that Dro Byron. You know what I mean? No,
that George Clinton. That George Clinton.
I said that George Clinton, that Bill Clinton. It's all of it, dog. You don't like Parliament? Get the fuck out of here.
I'm smoking on that pack. You know what I mean?
How's everyone's week been? We've been good. Everyone's chilling. That's great. What are you sipping on tonight?
Sipping on hot tea, bitch. This tea is at the perfect temperature.
I've got a Lagunitas Hazy Wonder IPA. I'm just now picking up that I'm just now picking up that the reason you said that is because this is going to be airing on Friday.
And we're back. If any of you wanted to be a co-host of a hit I will be taking applications for the rest of the week as long as you own a calendar and can properly respond to text messages.
I straight went to the YouTube right now looking for the live feed. I was like, where are these comments?
And we're back. Oh man, I swear to God, folks. Joe, if you could say anything to Joe Byron right now, what would you say?
Bring me to the White House, baby.
I swear I thought you were gonna say wah. Okay, this show, let's bring it back in. Let's bring it back in.
I was trying to think of a solid question to ask him, but
yeah.
A lot of it is just like a lot of what the fuck.
Like yeah, it's just like, where's my student loan fucking cancellation, bitch?
Actually,
for that?
Let's be honest. Are we really talking to fucking Joe Biden? Like, do you really think Joe?
Whoa, wait, that's a banned word. We cannot say that. We do not say that on the show. That's why we're referring to Joe Byron.
Joe Byron?
I swear, you say it again, and I'll just re-air Wetzel's thank you video. Yeah, make me. Fuck it.
We have a show, I promise. We have a show.
Wow, EP of the year.
I'm kidding. We're not doing that.
Wow,
We're just using his likeness for the rest of time. You should have never sent me that video.
Woo! I thought that shit was going on for sure.
Oh, no, I can't stand
God
dude
damn
Wetzel again.
Woo.
Son of a bitch. No, it's gonna be a great time. Today we are talking Summer 16, quote unquote, the greatest summer of all time. Drake said it was a good summer. So it must be.
Looking for revenge.
Jesus. I mean, if Drake said it, he can't be wrong. Drake's right about everything, right?
I think this does spark the discussion, and this is definitely a topic we're going to run with on another episode here in the future. But I think this bears the discussion of what is the best solid year in metalcore, in the scene. I mean, and you could even break this up for hip hop too over the last 20 years.
You told me music, and I wrote down 1979. Metalcore is a completely different story. Oh, I gotta.
We could get that granular and break it down in music and that broad and do music in general. But metalcore, I mean, you have some 2005, 2007, both very popular years. 2010, although you said that 2010 was death of the scene, and I don't necessarily know if that's accurate.
Yep. That was the death of the scene. That was it.
The 2011 Warped Tour had like a really crazy,
dude.
If you want to call it metal, I mean, I guess it was just like
2015.
Mice of Men, Memphis Made Fire, Abandon All Ships.
2012 to 2015 or 2010 to 2015.
Abandon all ships.
You had fucking Memphis Mayfire, North Lane, Architects, all these big bands that are kind of like past their prime right now, or maybe in their heyday right now. They all had their killer years.
You mentioned a lot of those bands like North Lane. North Lane, they're a great band. They make decent music, and they're, you know, progressed and gone with different vocalists and whatnot.
Right.
A lot of these bands at the time being on Warped Tour, they're either like a big deal or they're like a big deal on the come up. Like, it's like, yo, they're the next whatever. Right. And like that's one of the reasons I had uploaded a picture where we could check out all the different artists that were on the Warped Tour that we attended. Not attended, but the Warped Tour that we were on. 16 had
you made it seem like we were like went to like a stand.
We're like some fucking marks, like we just some fans attended it. No,
I can't wait to watch Yellow Card.
Actually, I came to see Broadside on the Left Foot stage. Yeah, all these bands. And like there's a lot of bands on here. Like I see like an Avion Row and an Old Wounds. Like these were bands that were on the come up. And they just, where the fuck are they now? Nowhere.
Here. Here.
No, I think Old Wounds is still in New Jersey.
Well, I'm talking to me, really. You know,
all I know, I'd never heard Old Wounds on recordings. I just saw them live a few times. Very aggressive, super loud, pro LGBT, pro like everything. And they were just, they're very vulgar,
super nice,
violent in their message, and it was dope. Their music was aggressive, like not a similar sound, but the same way that Wrist Meets Razor is like that fun metalcore that hits you in the face, and it's like just give me my meat and potatoes. That's what Old Wounds kind of was. I dug it.
That was like one of my.
Well, and not to interrupt you, Jordan, but that what you just explained right there, I think is summed up in a lot of the bands that we got in that 2010 to like 2015, 16 timeframe. On that list alone, you have Vanna, you have Old Wounds, you have, you know, I'm looking at Ocean's 8 Alaska, Every Time I Die,
The Color
for My
Morale.
Valentine.
How big of a deal was The Color Morale?
Dude, The Color Morale. Plus, you have Atreyu, In Heart's Wake. Like, In Heart's Wake from Australia, they rarely come to the U.S. You have bands on this particular lineup that were just there to fucking rage and party, man. Knuckle Puck, fucking Hail the Sun. I mean, and look at dude, Wage War. Hail the Sun. Yeah, look at the bands that since 2016 have probably risen to some pretty
shout out Hail the Sun, man.
Yeah, dude, pretty notable stuff. Chunk No Captain Chunk just came out with a new single. Whitechapel is slaying,
Whitechapel was
son.
Totally on that.
Vela Maya. I mean,
Vela Maya was one of the best live performances on that entire tour.
Yeah. Pre Homeboy though, I believe. Pre new vocalist. So I'm not.
No. It was with Lucas. Lucas was on that run. He's fucking incredible. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember Cruel Hand. Ice Nine Kills, pretty big deal. Gideon, I think they broke up. From Ashes to New, still grinding Every Time I Die.
Gideon's been doing shit. And
yeah, I thought they just released a new song.
They did, cool. And an album I think in 2020 or 2019. And they're an old school fucking, they're an early metalcore hardcore act, man. They were around in like the early Bridge 9 Records days, so, and that's the great thing about Warped Tour. Obviously you've got the weird shtick Thor and Cyclops action figure and or artistry there. They're trying to play to the crowd, but what was nice about Warped Tour is you could go and see Throwdown and potentially a Sum 41 or a Coheed and Cambria all on the same day, and that was nice.
Sum 41 was awesome in Indiana. It was cool to like get to watch them on that run.
Yeah, there was a few dates that like you get like okay, so Connecticut, I was stoked because you got the one day of Paris. It was so awesome. I had always seen these one day performances and like going to Warped Tour in California in like Carson, Pomona, Chula Vista, wherever you go, you're guaranteed to get one of those by somebody. I think Linkin Park one year did their shit.
I was going to ask, was that 2016? Was that?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't ours.
No,
it wasn't ours. Our surprise was a day to remember, I think. Wasn't it?
That's the one I was at. Yeah, it was because me and
didn't Waka do the fucking California
Waka
dates?
Wasn't a surprise, but
Bring
he
Me
was
did too, didn't
week.
they? Bring Me did one as well, I believe.
Bring Me wasn't on any of our dates, but they did it before.
Hmm.
When I started like going to Warp Tour twice a year, like on the front end and the back end, we'd get the first and last date in Southern Cal. You get the first day would be Pomona, right? And the last day was Carson. For a couple years, and the routing switched up. And so I would hit it like that, and you would be able to see the bands that played the first or the second half. So like Underoath the first half, and then Bring Me the Horizon the second half. And I go to do press. Bring Me the Horizon's not doing press because this is right at the exact time that the whole Ollie pissed on a chick story came out. We already disclosed what that story is, so go back and find it. I don't want to fucking tell it again.
I mean, that was the time it resurfaced. That story has been out since well before This Is a Hell. And I think they did the surprise performance in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, right around the time that right between their last like heavy one, I think This Is a Hell and Sempiternal, right? I think that's
This Is Hell. It was Suicide Season, then This Is Hell, and then
right, and then Sempiternal was after that.
So Super Turtle,
Super Turtle. In between
Turtle.
In between This Is Hell and Super Turtle is when I believe they did their thing, and it resurfaced. And I think it resurfaced because that was their come up on the mainstream was when they did Super Turtle. You know.
I saw them in I want to say it's 2013, the Warp Tour that Matty Mullins snubbed me on. And man,
didn't he clear that up with you and tell you he didn't snub you live on an actual podcast?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we did a live interview, if you want to call it, that. He didn't snub me. Yeah, he was on there. It was
and
cool.
he apologized.
Yeah, shouts to him. Shouts to Matty. Whatever. But that tour,
keep you honest, my dude.
I really I need clarification on this because I went with Justin Case. Okay, we've had him on the show, and we weren't even that fucked up at the time. And we watched Bring Me, and then right afterwards was Chiodo. So we were planted at this stage for a while, and we both remember hearing. Okay, do you remember? This was the year that there was a girl severely injured or died during Bring Me set. Do you remember that?
Right.
They put up the giant signs that said no moshing. You mosh, we get sued, no more Warp Tour. You remember that? That became a thing. That was the year. I remember seeing their set and hearing Ollie say, fuck that little girl, she's better off dead. And I looked to Justin, and I said, did he just, and he went, yup. And then he went on this tirade like a rock star, like, fuck Warp Tour, show's over, everybody go home.
Were you at the California date? Were you at the California date?
This was in North Carolina, and it was like noon. They were like in the noon slot, which for Warp Tour is like a lot of pretty good bands play around noon, 1 and 2 and shit. And they went off. He said all that, and I'm like, yo, that's some rock star shit to say. The show's over. Fuck Warp Tour. You're still playing Warp the next day, and everyone go home. It's noon. Like, so this shit goes to like 5 or 6.
He did a similar rant at the California one. And if
did he say fuck that little girl, she's better off dead? Because that's what me and Justin both heard.
Listen, he references that, and it wasn't a girl got injured at a Bring Me the Horizon event. A girl had gotten injured at, I want to say it was like Lamb of God or some other very like similar scene, bigger scene band. And they got injured and like suffered severe brain damage and died. And going into Warp Tour, they were announcing that they weren't going to allow moshing. And people were questioning, how is that going to be even controlled when you have 30, 40,000 kids at these events? Like, it fucking turns up at times, you know? And sure enough, if I'm not mistaken, what he was implying is that you can't contain. Yeah, I think he was like, yo, fuck her as a statement. It didn't happen during a set of theirs. He was just saying, yeah, fuck her. This is rock and roll. At rock and roll, you're supposed to do this and do that.
So not okay.
At rock and roll, you're supposed to die in the crowd.
I guess.
No. I don't think it was that. I don't think he said, I don't know. I don't think he said "fuck that little girl." I can't. I don't.
I have.
But
I heard.
I remember him bringing
I asked
attention.
clarification immediately. I've asked just in case
it's just
4
in case,
times.
Though.
But
it's just
dude,
in case.
we both heard it. It's like when you both see a UFO, and it's like,
Fair.
bro, do you remember that night? And it's like,
Fair.
yeah, okay.
If you and me saw a UFO, fair. I would. Okay, now. I don't know if I necessarily heard him
I
say
had
that.
also seen blood on the dance floor that day, so my mind was a little scrambled eggs.
I don't know if he said those exact words, but I believe what he was trying to imply is that you can't contain energy at a metal show, and that's part of it. And Ollie has been videotaped before expressing gratitude for people in the crowd and saying, hey, if you get knocked down, pick them back up, whatever. He might have been maybe heated at your event. I don't believe I got the fuck Warped Tour it's dead thing either. Where did you say that you saw him? North Carolina? I mean, I can imagine.
Raleigh.
I can imagine
Here, time out.
North Carolina
in June 2013, Oliver Sykes and the band Bring Me the Horizon were being sued by the parents of a 12-year-old girl due to injuries inflicted on her as a result from the mosh pits during the band's set at one of the Warped Tour dates, with Ollie tweeting that by law he is no longer able to start any form of moshing activities at his concerts. However, Ollie Sykes later stated that he was no longer being sued and the moshing was not going to be banned. So it was them. At least the suit names them. So.
Yeah, let me. So
that would make sense why he's so mad about it. This is way off track. This was not the story I was planning to tell. We're in Warp 2013. We haven't even got to 16, bro. We haven't even got to December 16.
What Warp Tour was that?
Oh, Summer 16.
This is Warp Tour 2013 with the Ollie Sykes incident, the girl getting smashed on and moshed on. Okay. And that's when the signs came up. No moshing and shit. Anyone who goes to Warp remembers that because that became an eyesore because they were ugly. And it was just like, man, this isn't what this tour's about.
So check it out.
I also remember watching 4 Years Strong telling them to disregard those signs.
Yeah, the year of the signs.
So fucking funny.
So check it out.
Spit it out. Spit it out, boy.
The 2014 is when the signs that said, you mosh, you crowd surf, you get hurt, we get sued, no more Warped Tour. That was 2014, and it actually does reference the prior years, Bring Me the Horizon incident, as well as the Lamb of God incident, as well as another incident in Sweden, looks like in a little nightclub.
So I just
that's where I was referencing.
And there is a lengthy international Warped Tour 2013. By the time I was a part of it on the tour, they were only doing a Warped UK at 2 dates. They were no longer going to Australia. They weren't going to Switzerland. Like, to think that tour continued on. I mean, like, some of those headliners continued on that. Like, and Every Time I Die could very well go on a 4 to 5 month run on that Warp shit, and that's insane.
They did the Warp Tour road show. Remember, that was like the build up to the Warp Tour for a while, like in the 08, 09 time frame. They were doing the road show, and it hit like Canada, and it hit like a couple other spots that were like.
I have a road show for you, and it's the perfect segue to finally get into the story. Okay, so Warped Tour 2016 that we are going to be talking about was a 41 city tour. That's 41 dates, 41 shows that we're playing. That doesn't include all the days that we're on the road, miserable as shit. The tour started June 24th in Dallas, Texas, and it ended August 13th in Portland, Oregon. It went everywhere. What's even
you
more
did the whole
insane,
run, right?
I did all of it. Never again.
Oh man.
What did you do, Jordan? To think
half.
Damn.
You did like, I say you did like 60%.
I mean, we went from Dallas, or we did the first day in Dallas, and then we stopped in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was our last day.
It absolutely sucks when your friends leave a tour like that because you're like, fuck, there goes like your friend from school, dude. It's like your whole fucking social circle's leaving. Like, and then I didn't know Hail the Sun was only playing half the tour, so I was like bummed out as shit when they left. But after all these 41 Warped Tour shows in 2016, there was a Road to Warped Tour Alaska on June 22nd that continued on. I can't even fucking imagine doing more of that and going to Alaska with it. Like, fuck no.
That'd be sweet. That'd be like the best part.
Dude, no, I would be like, oh, I'd leave all the doors open and cover the band in meat so the polar bears would get them. I was so over that tour. I was ready for it to end. Like, it became a running joke that I would tell the band, can you believe it's the last day of tour? And it would be like, 30 days left. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, hey, man, I'm driving. Any night it could end. I could just put you guys in a fucking lake and be done with it. I could just set this motherfucker ablaze at a truck stop and be done with it. Go home. I mean, yeah, I'll go to jail, but you know what? I'll sleep in my bed tonight. And they're just like,
Warped Tour will really bring out an animal in you.
They're like, what the fuck, dude? It got so bad. Like, I was able to tour with a band that I knew I was like personal friends with, had known them for years, and still ended up sick as shit of them. And the awful tour manager they hired, and his meth head brother.
I mean, you might as well say the name of the band. I mean, you can't. I know.
I toured with Ghost Town. We all know that it was Ghost Town.
Damn.
Their second to last tour ever before the core band just fucking blew up. We had an awful tour manager. I'm not gonna like put him on blast or name his name or anything, Nick Turner, but he was just the fucking absolute worst.
Oh, you talking about good old Dick Burner? You talking about my good old friend Dick Burner over there?
I think he worked for Hawthorne Heights. I know he was with Wednesday 13 before. Justin Jack, our boy Justin Jack, got the Wednesday 13 offer through that motherfucker because he asked me on Warped Tour, do you want to go with Wednesday 13? No, but my boy does. Click, click, click. Yo, I finally got you a tour because I don't care. I don't care if you crash and kill Wednesday 13. Go for it, bro. Here's your training wheels, and it's a rockabilly band. Knock your socks off.
Have fun.
He did it though. Fun. I'm proud of him. He knocked it out the park, and now he's a real driver, getting paid real money. He don't even have to get paid in Chuck E. Cheese tokens or Cracker Barrel.
I have a Hawthorne Heights tour story.
Oh God, I don't even like them.
So 2005, right? The year that fucking Ohio is for Lovers came out. We're at the San Diego Warped Tour.
Real quick, do you remember me, you, and Nick, and you two arguing about Hawthorne Heights and where they're from? And like, I don't know which one of you had it wrong because you were both stupid in high school, but like, and I didn't listen to them, so I'm not in the argument.
I don't like them.
But like, one of you thought they were from Hawthorne Heights, Los Angeles. And then you're like, well, why do they have a fucking t-shirt that says Ohio is for lovers, you dumbass? And I want to say it was Nick yelling at you. Because he would be the one to be, no.
Ohio is for lovers was the name of their song, too, though. So that doesn't state that that's
I don't listen to them. When y'all were listening to Hawthorne Heights, I was listening to Cameron and Dipset.
Hold on. Let's just put this to rest here. Let's just put this to rest.
I heard Hawthorne Heights was your favorite band of all time.
You know what? I'll send Nikki a fucking invite to this shit right now.
Hawthorne Heights is from. Are you ready for it?
I know Dayton, they're from Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. There you go. Did you know that?
You know what better band is from Dayton, Ohio? The Devil Wears Prada.
Dun dun dun. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, 2005. We're fucking. I think we just got to watching like Avenged Sevenfold or something, and Hawthorne Heights was coming out, and we're like standing in the back, and I'm not that into Hawthorne Heights, but they did have a song that I guess was like
which Warped is this?
2005.
Okay.
And so they did have a song that opened up with them like screaming "Homeboy that OD'd and died, R.I.P." Casey Calvert.
We're so respectful on this show.
Yeah, Casey Calvert, the dude from Hawthorne Heights.
Daniel, I see your comments.
They have a really heavy song that they open up with. And we're standing in the back, dude, and no shit, I shit you not. It was so packed for Hawthorne Heights because they were like blowing up that fucking stupid ass song. And this particular intro just fucking a banger, and they're doing like finger tapping and shit, and they're fucking going into like a breakdown, and we're watching the pit, and kids just start dropping. Boom, 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 boom. We're like, what the fuck? And there's just crowd killers, bro. I like go and I look, and there's just dudes that are running up, just binking motherfuckers, dropping them. Hawthorne Heights. Cool. I don't mean like. And granted, it's 2005, guys, so this isn't like hardcore is like phasing out at this point, and like moshing isn't resurging like it is right
2005, bro. Undermined is getting down at this time.
Kids are straight heel kicking other kids in the fucking face. They are straight Shawn Michaels spin kicking people in the fucking like dome. They're fighting ninjas. AFI did the Leaving Song Part 2, which was a music video, and where they actually did hardcore dancing and fucking fought invisible ninjas. Yeah. This is 2005, boy. This is prime. So all these kids that are dropping are getting like heel hit. Fucking yeah, dude. It's intense. It was great. And I was like, you know what, Hawthorne Heights?
To AFI. That is a band I will I'll say it right here, bro.
That impression was fucking just unbelievable.
I can't with AFI.
Like,
this is a feeling.
Now you all bullshit aside, that band is super sick.
You want to hear my Davey Havoc impression real quick though?
I've been listening to it for the last minute.
He has the best O. Like it's not a death metal O. It's love it. What we're talking about, Warped Tour 2016. So I had previously met Jordan. He mentioned it before. He snuck into a Danger Kids interview I was doing.
I didn't sneak in. I stormed that bitch.
You stormed into it.
I stormed that bitch.
I barely knew those guys, and you just came in, and I ended up meeting you and barely remembering your dude. I could not remember the name of your band. I was like, "You're that band from the Danger Kids show," because I remember their name. What did I write down? How I spent my summer 16. We did the third to last Warped Tour ever. That's not special at fucking all, because the guys that did the last one bragged a lot, and I'm like, whatever.
It was a great lineup. 16 was a great lineup. Like
it was.
If you know,
it was.
For
it
anything
was a tremendous lineup.
So check it out.
The tour ended in 2018. Returned for 3 dates in 2019, but it's really not the same.
Put that back up real quick, because I'd already pointed out a couple bands.
Fuck it.
So we got this was Vanna. This was their last Warped Tour as a band. I believe that this was also
Emarosa's last Warped Tour.
That's favorite, and we're back.
That's an accurate statement.
Yo, why is like Ghost Town meshed into Icy Stars? Thanks for the typo.
Oh, wow. Where?
To the left in the middle.
Huh?
Right below the
Ghost Towny Sea Stars. Ghost County Sea Stars.
Yo,
wow.
Bands that I
Ghost County Sea Stars.
Ghost County Sea Stars, dog.
Bands that I had never ever heard of before and met on this tour and ended up being kind of cool, assuming we survived that Ryan Seaman dude.
I know assuming we survive.
Like Pacific.
Shout out assuming we survived as a dude.
With Confidence. Definitely. Masked Intruder, Rome. Everyone I know that's ever toured with Rome has good things to say about them. I've really never listened to them except seen them live. Cold Rain was that Asian band, right? They were cool.
Yes, they were actually really cool.
State Champs. Some of these bands aren't around. Pepper. Dude, I do not remember Pepper. Set It Off. They're cool as fuck. I already knew those dudes. Just a tremendous tour, dude. Good lineup. All right, so we start off in Dallas. We start off this motherfucker in Dallas, Texas. All right, so on the first day, you're supposed to arrive a day early. All the bands get together. You provide them. You're laughing because you didn't arrive a day early, right?
Oh, I got a fucking story about that whenever we get into it.
We had to, because it's like, this is a Fueled by Ramen band. Like, we arrived a day early. We're in the parking lot. The merch guy, our merch guy is Jeffrey from Capture the Crown that turned into Capture.
I remember. Okay, I remember that.
Brian, take a swig of beer. So Jeff,
you're not the fucking boss of me, bro. You're gonna tell me to fucking take a sip of beer? What is this?
But you did it though.
Fucking, I know I didn't. I didn't take it yet.
Drink your fucking.
So Jeffrey's our merch guy.
Beer.
He puts his shit together.
I'm doing this because I want to, Jordan, not because you're telling me to. Okay.
I swear.
Yeah, it's cool. Free will.
You give all the trucks your gear. You do a sound check. They take all your gear so it's set up right. You still have to lug in like what amps and shit. The dudes for Issues, they're techs who were close friends of mine, Austin Bellinger, Clayton Welburn. It sucked for them because that was the year Issues had those giant dummy cabs that were Nintendo Game Boy cartridges for Pokemon.
Yeah.
They had to lug dummy cabs back and forth every day through the rocks. Like normally it's just merch guys that have to lug shit. Most of the techs have their shit handled, or you're a lower band, you have to lug it to a smaller stage. It sucks. That shit was wild. They also, first day before before the tour starts, they give you what is it? You didn't take part in this, I guess, but it's a pair of Vans.
Yeah, and I mean, you come up
sunglasses.
Two pairs of Vans.
Okay, so I didn't even know that. It's first come, first served.
I still have mine, actually.
I have mine, and they're still blood stained because Vans are the.
Were they dope Vans, or were they just like dumb checkered ones?
Yeah, so like they're like a crazy colorway. I'm just like looking into my room to see if I can have them somewhere. But I got like I got the high tops, but they were like Timberland wheat color. Like I was like, yes, like I had never seen a color of Vans like this.
And so when I went up there, I was like,
super
thanks.
Sick.
And like they had no socks in my size. This was the one of the only pairs, and I was like, well, they're Vans. I'm not gonna like any of them anyways, because Vans.
Some motherfuckers getting 2-3 pairs of shoes.
I got like. That's what I was saying. I was stoked to get the one. That's what
I got. One pair. I didn't know it was two. I would have taken two.
Okay. So like the thing about it is like that was all. So we did the work. So like Avion Road did it in 2011 and 2012, but we weren't like officially on the tour. Like we were getting wristbands, laminates. Security guards were laughing at us and shit. Like it was fucking horrible. So like 2016 comes around, we got the label behind us. We're going, you got to go to the day, get your laminate. I'm like, ooh, getting a fucking laminate. Let's go. Like lit about it.
You got
there.
I'm like,
I know. And I heard about the cater. Oh my God. We'll talk about that. So I'm like, I'm getting a free pair of shoes. That's dope. I'm loving Vans right now. So that's fucking dope. And they're like, and then they say two. I'm like, love it. But we didn't really have to do anything because like our whole our stage was backline, so we didn't have to bring gear. We didn't really have to do a whole lot on that front. It wasn't the next day. The first day was so fucking eventful.
You had like all the bands that are like you could pick every one of them and be like, they're the next big thing. They're the next big thing. They're the next. Like, look, Hail the Sun. You could say that. Avion Row. I know a lot of people were saying that about Bad Seed Rising because they were on like Roadrunner and shit. There was a bunch. Did you just spill the fuck out of that?
No.
Oh, it looked like you did. I think it was just the fucking tea bag. Yo, Brian knows about tea bag.
Aha!
All right, so we're gonna go through this day by day. We started off in Dallas. I think I just kind of explored the day, didn't do a whole lot. Second day,
I got one.
I'm back in my hometown in San Antonio. What'd you do in Dallas?
I got a funny Dallas story.
Go for it.
So, Avion Row is based out of Dallas, so like you'd think like we're there on time, we're there like whatever. No, we were the last fucking band to show up because we blew a tire on the way to the venue. Unbelievable, right? Like you couldn't believe it. Like we got there late and we had to explain it to everybody. We're like, why are you guys late? We're like, yeah, we blew a tire. Like it sounds so fake, but whatever. Like we're in there. It was just like kind of just like, wow, this is kind of telling how the day is gonna go, huh?
One of the first things I noticed, I'm not a fan of the city of Dallas. With all due respect, fuck the city of Dallas. The Cowboys, Jerry Jones, Jerry World, the
every
Dallas
single one
Stars,
of them. Every single one of them.
Fucking homies hate Jerry Jones.
If you live in Fort Worth, you're okay. but fuck Dallas, okay? They have a Walmart that was located like central to where we were setting up at, and they had these giant fucking yellow pillars so you can't enter in because they're a low clearance for buses because they know Warped Tour staged their buses there and they got pissed off. So I worked around it, went through their truck entrance and parked that bitch and blocked a whole strip mall worth of fucking spaces and camped out there and bought charcuterie and they could eat me. That was Dallas. Second day we did San Antonio, so I get to come home. I brought a friend out. Shouts to B Weezy, Brian Watt. He was cool, but here's the problem. In Houston, third day, we're chilling. Show's over. He brought one of those gigantic rock cones. You know what I'm talking about? The giant rock cone, the biggest size. So it's a blunt.
I was gonna say not the Imperador.
Yeah, no, that one you can almost smoke. This is the giant, almost novelty one. Okay, so he had that all day. Bands like Veil of Maya were taking pictures with it. They didn't smoke it. Bands like Crown the Empire were taking pictures. Against the Current, they bought, I think they bought some coke off my homie. They were doing a bunch of shit. Everyone took social media pictures with this, but only one band smoked it with us. That was Issues. Shouts to Issues. Cool people. Not Tyler Carter. Creeper. Fuck that guy all the time. But Issues was cool as shit. And so we smoked it with them, right? So we're blazed. We're chilling, drinking. I'm kicked back. We're in like a circle. I'm just chilling with the band, whatever. I turn to my side and I see that my homeboy is now getting like tousled by security, who I think is security. It's just fucking stagehands. And what happened was some homeless dude snuck in through the gates and was picking up all the empty beer cans that like had a little bit of beer in them and was sipping them to get drunk. And stagehands caught him and started beating the shit out of him. Not throwing him out, just beating the shit out of him. And so my homeboy thinks that's the time to flip open his camera, and he's filming him with his phone. They get pissed off. They're yelling at him to stop recording, that he's like a snitch, a traitor, some shit. And they're like, the wristband for guests say what band you're a guest for. And so on the bottom, it said GT. And I can't lie for 2 whole days on this shit because the guy's going to go back. So I walked up and I'm like, quiet as shit. What's going on? And they're like, this dude, blah, blah. And I'm like, is he with you? And I go, he was. Like, I'm going to kick him out. And so I try to handle the situation. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Just stop filming it, delete it, whatever. Because they were freaking out. I don't know if he deleted it. He didn't post it. But we dip out. And sure enough, even though handling it, it's all cool, that my band still hears about it the next day. And I have to explain it. So that was bullshit. The same stagehand who beat him up is the same guy who emptied out a baby powder bottle and filled it with cocaine, allegedly, and flew on a plane with it, and he was distributing said cocaine throughout the tour. It's what I heard. So that was fun.
That's wild. Yeah. What I heard.
You just fucking gave TSA all the secrets too, you narc. You fucking
yeah, I'm sure no one's ever done that before.
I mean, that's my point though. That's a brilliant idea. Now you just fucking put it out there in the ether.
It's not that brilliant, dude. I'm sure people have been thinking about that shit since the fucking 80s. So after Houston, we do New Orleans, Louisiana. It's humid as shit. I believe this is the last day that Warped had a New Orleans date. So this was the last New Orleans Warped as far as I know. That was the background that we usually have with the buses. That's where that picture was taken. This one, yeah, it was.
That was the gnarliest. Shit. I think that's the gnarliest thunderstorm I've ever been in.
Bro, that shit was
crazy,
and the weather sucked all day. It was so hot. And
can you remove all of us to show the lightning in that photo?
I can, yeah. Hold on, it's gonna be silent. So if you're listening to the podcast, I apologize. I'll give you one good second. All right, that's it. That's all you get. That's some thick ass lightning. You feel me?
So we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause it at New Orleans because if we're reminiscing, I've got. I mean, you remember this whole fucking day for us. This shit was.
Oh yeah, you had a shit day.
Yeah, because Josh. So on the drive from, you said, what was it, Houston to New Orleans?
Yeah, that was not a quick drive either. That was lame.
No. So in the middle of that drive, we had to take Josh to the airport because his dad died. So
that's rough.
We get to work.
Imagine having to deal
Yeah.
with that. I felt so bad for him.
Oh, dude, it was terrible. Because I mean, like I said, dude, like, so also, like, is that a Yingling or Stella? I thought it was a Ying.
Yin's not a piece of shit, bro.
So, like, also this also needs to be said just to understand how like close the three of us were, me, Josh, and Matt. Like, we pretty, like, our mornings were somehow go loading in, get set up, hit him up, and we're waking bacon. Like, that was the routine before we started the day. So, like, we get to warp, we go to the fucking, you know, all the people you have to talk to and all that shit.
Hop up in my cab in the bandwagon.
Yeah. And we hop up in the cab in the bandwagon and smoke that bitch out.
I stayed supplied on Bud for pretty much the whole fucking tour. So I made sure that, like, you guys, and for a while there, my friend Greg, who was driving Vale of Maya, I would keep y'all smoked out. We would always chill. The dude who drove Ice Night Kills, Ryan Sellers, I smoked him out a bunch of times. Yeah. You got to take care of the people around you.
Yeah. Because you got, I mean, like I said, it's just about staying sane out there. And, like, you're just trying to have fun with the people that you're around. It gets kind of cliquey, but, like, I mean, that's just life.
It's very cliquey. It's like high school on a professional level.
So I actually thought, honestly, I didn't really realize it until kind of like right now. I realize how fucking crazy this is. And, like, when you hear about the family aspects of Warped Tour, like, you don't really get to see it. This is one of those days where, like, you've seen it happen into effect. So we go tell Kevin Lyman and all those people, like, hey, we told him the situation and we said, we're going to play acoustic today. And he tells them, he said, no, we're going to put them on last for the day and put out to the tour that Avion Road needs a drummer for the day. Cause he goes, you guys don't need to play acoustic. He's like, and we were like, okay. Like, so we kind of were like asking people around if there's anybody that could play for the day or whatever. Like, cause we don't know for X amount of time. Cause we don't know when Josh is coming back. Like, you know, we end up putting in a call to a friend of ours back in Dallas. Shout out Michael Carroll. And we're like, dude, are you happening to be doing anything like today or for like, you know, a stretch of time? He said, no. We're like, do you want to fly to New Orleans and play drums for us? And he's like, when? We're like, right fucking now. Like, we need you to go to the airport now. So get him out there, flying, and we're like, get him in. Me and Evan get him in the van, start going through songs on the drum pad with him. Like, he's at least familiar with the song, so it helps a little bit. End up playing the show. It was like a bunch of Evan's family was there from New Orleans that day. So it was just like another wrinkle of the day. You're trying to make that work. Cause we're like, damn, we want to sound good. You know, we want to sound good for them. And we sounded fine, but you know, it was just like, we had to like rush in a drummer from like 2 states over or like a state over and be like, hey, can you come play with us like right now? And then we get done, you know, and everyone's just still feeling all weird because of the day. Cause, you know, we're obviously, our heads are heavy, our hearts are heavy because of fucking, you know, we feel bad for Josh, you know, hoping he's okay, hoping, you know, the family's okay. And like, we're like starting to like get ready to break down for the day. And Kevin Lyman comes, you know, he'd be on that bike all fucking anytime you see him. He might as well be glued to that fucking thing.
He rides like old school.
Rumor is he's getting a surgery to replace his legs.
The beach cruiser, the one I lent you a couple of weeks ago. he stole that bike from somebody. He beat somebody up for that bike. He said, "That's my bike, fuck."
He was defending pop punk and stole it.
So Kevin Lyman comes by. And he's like, you guys better hurry up and pack up. There's a crazy storm coming. And I go, oh, yeah? And I'm not even fucking kidding. As soon as I even get something, whatever I said out of my fucking mouth, it just all this fuck, dude. Like, you would have thought it was like a hurricane just made landfall. Like, it was crazy, dude. So we're trying to get gear in. I'm picking up, like somebody like picked up, like bear hugged our live rig. It's like super big and just like it's running with it, like trying to get in and just get everything in. Dude, wasn't happening. So then,
did any equipment?
We finally get to the hotel. No, nothing was cool. Everything was cool. We got everything in. Everything was in ATA cases, so like there was no issues. So day off the next day, all of us are just like, thank God, like that's just gonna be great. Let's get to the hotel and just relax. We end up down in the bar. It was me, our TM, Michael, who was filling in for Josh, and our merch guy. So we're sitting down there, we're having some drinks, we're having a good time, just trying to unwind, and I look over and there is this old man, passed the fuck out at the bar like this. Just my phone's up in the thing, like charging or something, or I think it was dead. And I look at somebody, I go, yo, somebody give me their phone, like right now. I took it and I sent it to Matt.
This guy is not awake. I looked at this picture without any context, and I'm like, okay, first off, by the hair and the glasses, this is old Jordan. This is like when we were hanging out every day. And that guy is like not giving consent for this photo because he's not awake. Sleepy Joe.
Fucking right.
Was that Joe Byron?
Joe Byron.
Byron.
Yo, was that Joe? Is that Sleepy Joe? Is that Sleepy Joe Byron?
It's Byron.
He did fall asleep at that summit recently.
Yeah, I can't, but like that, to end that day like that was just like, man, thank God, man. Like, cause that was just, what a time. Like, it was so crazy. Like we had put it out to, I'm trying to think of all the people we even asked. Cause like cause Fallen Reverse was there. So Ryan Seaman was playing with them at that time. Like we asked him if he knew anybody. Like, I think we asked him to play. Like we asked, like there was like 3 or 4 different people. We were like, hey, can you come play for us? Can you come play for us? Like we need, like, they don't want us to play acoustic. And then we were like, all right, let's just call Michael. And then had the most fire breakfast ever the next day at City Diner. Shout out City Diner in New Orleans.
The New
Asian
Orleans
omelets, baby.
The New Orleans date, after the show was over, everyone's retreated back to their buses. I have no idea who it was, what they did, what band it was. I just know some crew member of a band was driving around the dirt parking lot that the buses are parked in. There's huge potholes. I mean, some of them very short and deep. And they planted a wheel of this mini bike into one of those holes. And whatever they did, they came off the bike and broke like a leg or a limb, because a paramedic came out, scared the shit out of everyone. We thought someone died. It was like, man, it's way too early for bodies to be dropping on this tour. And apparently that's what it was. I still never found out. After that, we did Nashville. Then we hit up Atlanta. I don't remember those dates much, except for that they were kind of hot. I do remember that was around the time I stopped having fun. So by the time we hit St. Petersburg and Orlando, I was so fucking pissed off because I had got around on tour enough and talked to enough drivers.
What happened?
By the time we hit Florida, I had talked to enough drivers that I realized I am like the 3rd or 4th lowest paid driver on this tour, and it's not okay. And I started to think about it. Like, a lot of these bands, what they do is they'll pay you less because it's the longest tour of its kind. So if you're stuck driving those metalcore bands all the time in a bandwagon, Warped is kind of like your cash cow every year. You need to be on it, and you need to find like a spring and a winter tour. Anything else is like, you found a January tour going to Canada like I would do, fuck it, it's money. But I found out I wasn't being paid very well, and by the time we hit Florida, I had told them, hey man, I'm done. You guys can fucking figure it out. I have the keys. I have the spare. I've locked it. This doesn't move until I get paid and I get a raise. Because it wasn't the band's fault per se. They had a really shitty manager who even Axl Rose publicly shits on, and you can Google it. Fuck you, Merc, out in the UK. Fuck that guy.
Oh,
big time dickhead. Still owes me money. Yeah, just didn't want to pay anybody on time. So the band themselves had to fight to get me paid on time and then get a raise. So I remember being in Florida at what was the super coastal date? Is it St. Petersburg or Orlando?
St. Petersburg. It's right off the park. Nah, St. Petersburg's the one that's like right off the ocean and like dolphins be swimming up and shit. It's crazy.
July
dude.
1st, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in, so a week in, and I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not having fun. I need a raise, and we got it straightened out. And it just
tired of smoking weed with Jordan and Josh every day.
It continued problems with the band because like we're getting tired and sick of each other. There was also this was around the time somewhere between North Carolina and Virginia. Okay, so we do these Florida shows, St. Petersburg. Orlando.
I was gonna say I got an Atlanta story if you wanna. If before
what's your
I got
Atlanta
a story from
story?
Atlanta. Well, so it's a story actually of like, I learned like I gotta stop talking shit about bands that I don't know. Because you end up meeting these people and then you realize like, damn, maybe you're not that bad. Like it's it's whatever. So you said how Florida is like when you get sick of it and you want to go home. Atlanta's like the start of that because Because let me tell you what, I love the city of Atlanta, but the venue that they have Warped Tour at makes me so mad because you're just inhaling just dirt for 8 hours. Like it's just nothing but sandstorms, and
that was the day I left the trailer door down and drove off with it, and dragged it through the gravel.
So
that happened.
So we go in. So I'm walking down that big ass, the big ass trail, you can it's like this fenced in walkway that no one else can really get to except for the bands and stuff. It'll take you back to where catering and all that shit is
it's the only thing
big trailers and shit
seen on during Warp 16.
Yeah. So I'm walking to breakfast. We just did the drive from Nashville. I'm kind of feeling some type of way because our booking agent at the time came to watch us and and then he was like, "Oh, I'll come talk to you guys in the van after," and basically told us everything that we need. You guys need wireless systems. You guys this has to be, your harmonies need to be tighter. I was just like, damn. Why are you booking us? I'm
not our manager.
Type of way about
give us shows, asshole.
So I'm kind of feeling some type of way about that. I'm in a bad mood because obviously it's warm. Those drives are hell, especially when you're in a van. When you're in a van, dog, it's just not for the faint of heart. So I get to breakfast. I feel like I'm sitting I'm by myself. I went to breakfast alone. I didn't want to fucking be around
anybody. Tour breakfast is mandatory. It's the same shit every motherfucking day. But you're just
I don't even care
for it because it's free and it's quality. Cereal,
it's great.
Donuts, juice, whatever. Unlimited fucking Monster until your diabetes and heart give out.
The T-bar, that's...
Shouts to Josh Cutlip, who taught me this shit. He stacked up a pillar's worth of Monster energy drinks in his band's trailer.
He drank all of them in 3 months.
That's disgusting.
3 months!
And I'm worried about him and his health and his child. That's not okay. He took home so many because you can take cases worth, and the next day there's another pallet there for you to do the same thing. Yeah. And eventually, no one wants them. You can take as much as you want forever.
He was going around at the end of the day and just walking by stages that were pretty much torn down. And if he's seen them, he was taking it.
And it's I was just Monster that they're doing as promo. So there was select days we had Monster Muscle that was disgusting. There was the
who would drink that in the middle of the afternoon? Fuck out of here.
There was the pink monster. There was several sugar-frees and diets. The white monster was heavy on that tour. Just like a bunch of
people were using that shit as a mixer.
And it just got really difficult to find the original. Because like that was at the time I still drank that shit. And by drink, I mean I drank 4 sips and threw it away like a wasteful motherfucker. Let's get
you
back
straight only
so
do...
I'm pulling...
oh, my bad. No, you're good.
No, good. No, go get it out.
No, I was just gonna say you only need like 4 sips of Red Bull. It's like a little bit of
Red Bull is another story. Their cans are designed perfectly.
Anything. It's like a little bit of meth. You take a little bit of meth and you're fucking good for.
You like, microdose your meth. Well, that's why you don't like it.
Yeah. No, what?
All right.
So I'm sitting. So they have like the 3 long ass like tables in the room. So I'm literally sitting at one, and I don't even think there's anybody else at it. Like, there's a couple other people in the room, but I'm like the only one at this like big ass table for like 30. And I'm sitting there. My face is in my breakfast. Like, I'm just like, don't want to talk to nobody. I'm just like, haven't had my coffee yet type shit. And I just kind of feel like somebody standing over me, and I just hear, "Hey, aren't you in Avion Row?" I look up. Bright ass fucking hair, Austin Knight from Water Parks. And I'm just like,
Austin with the W.
Yeah, Austin with the W. Now, before this, the band wasn't for me, man. Like
Water Parks, when I first met them on the Set It Off tour, prior to the same year I did Warped Tour, I had done a Set It Off co-headlining with Tonight Alive, the Fight for Something. They called it the Suck for Something or Fight for Sucking tour. I had done that run with Set It Off, and those guys were cool. I'm drunk. I forgot the point of my story. What did you just say? What was that band?
So anyway,
no, there was Water Parks.
Austin from Water
Parks on the Set It Off tour. God. They opened up like 3 shows for us. Bro. They were super fucking nice.
I'm just here for filler. That's all.
When I met them on Warped Tour, Austin didn't know who I was and was a straight up fucking asshole. Shouts to him.
So I was like, how do you know who I like? You know what I mean? At that point, this is 2016. They were
up and up. They're stalled right now,
blowing up, fucking crazy. I didn't understand it, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he was like, dude, he's like, we played that show together a few years ago. What? What? And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I can't remember, and he can see it in my face, and he goes, the one at Mangoes. And it hits me like just bang, like 2 or 3 years ago. Before that, we played at some club in Houston called Mangoes, and yeah, they opened up the show. I totally forgot about it and all that, and I was just like, yeah, like, and it all came back. I'm like, dude, I can't believe you fucking remember that. He's like, yeah, no, it was so cool, and like we just chopped it up for a few minutes, and I was just like, I walked away and was like, huh, I'll never. I wouldn't say never, but I'm gonna do my best to never do that again.
That Austin Knight liked my band.
It wasn't. I don't even think it was so much he liked my band. It was just like one of those things. Like, he just seen me and remembered me and was like, he was like just cool enough to be like, yo, what's up, dude? Like, he did not have to do that. Like, I was literally like this. I'd have been fine not talking to anybody. So like, it was just like. It was just cool to see somebody that was getting to that level that was still down to earth enough to just go out of their way to have a conversation with somebody, even if they barely knew them. I was like, I respect the shit out of that. That's cool as fuck.
So after the Florida shows, we end up doing Charlotte, North Carolina. I was super bummed out because of the 3 years I spent in North Carolina. I had a bunch of friends out there that I could give free access to this tour. None of them took up on it. Fuck all of them. Then we did Virginia Beach. You had a story about that day, and I don't remember shit from it because that entire day was lost. I slept
Virginia Beach.
I slept the whole fucking day.
No, I had Charlotte. I got Charlotte stuff. Actually, that was an awesome day. The only thing I had about Virginia Beach is I feel like that was one of the days that that Alan played for us from Hell to Sun. because he did a couple. Dope. Yeah, he did a couple of days for us when Josh had to leave again, yeah, it was that shit was dope. But so Charlotte, so that was a really cool day because that was the only time on our tour that we got to be the first band of the day. Now, like that's a big deal because no, we'd never done it before, so like it was a whole new thing for us. So we're in Charlotte. So it's down in Charlotte. My stepdad has family down there. So my mom and my stepdad were in town. We stayed there and spent time with his family. Had cookout, 4th of July, America, all that fun, happy shit.
America.
And they came to the show the next day.
I've been there.
Yeah, America. I've been there once. So they came to the show the next day, and I'm like, oh shit, we're the first band of the day. I wonder how this is gonna go because people are coming in the door. You just don't know like what that's gonna be like. And we get to the fucking stage, dude. There's like 400 kids there, and I'm like,
it's a good amount for a morning show.
To provide context, like Jordan was in a decent band that like I never fucking heard of or paid attention to, and they had great performances with shitty equipment because their booking agent was probably right that they did need to get their harmonies in check and needed wireless, but they were a fucking great band with some promise. I watched the Full Sail stage almost every day because the Monster stage, the main stage, is very crowded. Everywhere I had to walk to catering to find like my band's merch tent to find someone, I walked by Full Sail. I made a point to watch Hail the Sun, Avion Row, Silent Planet, I think was on your stage.
Silent Planet was, I think Silent Planet was there, yeah.
I watched
Great, they were super nice.
Palais Royale was on your stage and blowing up as well, and there was just a lot of really good bands in completely different styles of rock and metal. It was great.
Yeah, we had everything from pop like
Bad
shit like
Seed
us,
Rising,
like
the young kids.
We had everything from like Broadside and With Confidence to fucking Cane Hill, which like shout out Cane Hill. Those dudes were fucking
Cane Hill is dope
amazing.
As shit,
and I gotta say they really grew on me because the first time I like watched them, I was just like, okay, who is this? This shit sounds sinister, evil, all of that shit in fucking one. And I like eventually like by the middle of the tour for us, like I was like, yo, these dudes are dope. Like I was so excited to watch them every day. And it was cool. One of the days, like,
they had such a buzz coming off that tour.
Yeah. They were on the side of the fucking trailer.
Yeah. Every single crew member that I hung out with or talked to, no matter what band or genre, they all had like the praise for Cane Hill. I feel that band didn't capitalize properly off it because, dude, off of that they could have just steamrolled motherfuckers. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but I definitely would love to see them. Like, I mean, that band was awesome. They were super nice. Like we played before them one of the days. I can't remember what day it was, but so they're like standing off the side watching us. And like, I can't even lie. I was like really intimidated by it because I'm just like, we're this just like, you know, wannabe arena emo band, you know, trying to do some like this big fucking sound, and like the heaviest band on the fucking tours is watching. I'm just like, I was like, they probably think we're such pussies. Like, this is just like embarrassing. And then like we walk off stage and like, dude, you guys are dope. We were like, fuck yeah, man, thanks.
I have a story to speak on that.
Charlotte was also the day of that storm. It was a huge storm. Like people were like pulling down their tents and shit. We're just sitting in there drinking Yinglings and shit. It was a good time.
It's okay. So I've had to recall everything about this tour today, and so you say that I don't remember any storms except New Orleans, and I'm starting to remember that. Like, oh man. Okay, so in between after the Florida runs, we do Charlotte, we do Virginia. I don't know which date it was. There was a night I'm driving on the interstate. I'm focused on the road. I'm in the slow lane because the bandwagons max out at 65 miles per hour, and most of them it's 64. And there's one select model that's 63 miles per hour. You cannot alter it. So I'm traveling in the slow lane, and I'm just fixated on the road. I'm not fucked up. I'm sober. I'm awake. I'm just looking forward. And out of nowhere, this street sweeper merged onto the highway, but it didn't have any of its flashers on. And so I was like, oh my God. And there was a split second where I had become content with like, I'm going to hit them and the tour's going to be over. And I said, my instincts kicked in. I can't do that to these guys. And I swerved hard and swerved back. I didn't, maybe not swerve back, but I swerved into the other lane abruptly. Apparently, when I did that, their drummer, shouts out to Manny, was opening the refrigerator. So everything came out. Okay. I've already stated how fond I was of their unnamed tour manager, Nick Turner. That was a piece of shit. He thought I was falling asleep, high, or drunk up there. Okay. He didn't want to listen to any of my fucking explanation, nothing. And it's shitty because he used to drive. So he kept threatening that he would take over to drive. And fun fact, the following year, he was on Warped Tour with another band talking shit about me to other drivers. And it got back to me. And I hit him up. I said, don't mention my name because you were a shitty fucking TM. And I haven't told anyone to cost you a job. And if I hear my name out your mouth again, I'll show up at Warped Tour and I'll beat your fucking ass. Bet. And he said, what does bet mean? And I said, bet, motherfucker, bet.
Bet, 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 bet. Bet, you little bitch.
He said, quote, I wanted to fire him, but he was just too close to the band. Yeah, fuck you. He hired, side story. This is important because this provides a context why I'm so miserable. Okay, so my TM sucks a dick and he shouldn't even be doing the job he's doing. He decided that he was going to bring his meth head brother from the meth capital of Arizona. Shouts to Kingman, Arizona. He decides to bring his I want to say his name's Nate. Nick and Nate brings this piece of shit, fat, jack off all the time, motherfucker. No, not him, dude. That would be way classier. Brings this motherfucker out. Okay, we have a female photographer on board who's 18 years old on her first tour. This son of a bitch decides to jack off in the shower early on, and she caught his dumb ass. Like, I know that's cum. You came in the shower, you piece of shit. And it's like, okay. So I find out the story was he was 4 months sober. No, 2 months? He was 2 months sober from meth. And he was going to go on tour to get away from that lifestyle. Come to find out, he wasn't even 2 days clean off meth. So, like, after that first week when I said I stopped having fun, he must have felt the same way because he was freebasing fucking cocaine on the tour bus. There's a strict rule, especially with that band, that there are no drugs allowed on board. Okay, weed is not a drug to them. That don't count. So if I did anything, I went elsewhere. Okay, so when I found out he was doing that shit on board, I'm like, that's a problem. I don't want that guy on board. I don't want that shit going down. And I have to explain to the cops if we get pulled over, you know? So I told the band, I'm like, this motherfucker's smoking cocaine on our bus. And they got back to him and said, don't do that shit. Okay, so I'm going to continue the story. Warped Tour. Okay, so we did the Carolinas. I did the Swerve. We did Syracuse. That was way the fuck up there. We did Camden, New Jersey. Camden, New Jersey is a fun area. I'm sure the real estate there is fair priced.
Do you remember Syracuse?
No, what did we do?
Do you remember what happened in Syracuse?
No.
The first day of Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody and their fucking mom. You could identify. You didn't even have to use a laminate to identify a band. You could look at they had a fucking phone charger cord hanging out of their pocket like a goddamn wallet chain.
Issues
so like
had been talking about it all Warped Tour because
everybody was playing.
When it dropped, it was just it made sense for everyone on Warped, you know, touring, traveling. Let's play this mobile. What do they call that? All augmented reality game. It was one of the biggest or first games to do that. I went ahead and tried it out because peer pressure is a motherfucker. I even spent like $80 on premium content that I still don't think I've utilized to this day, and I've deleted the app like 3 years ago. The reason I don't remember anything about Syracuse, but I remember Camden. Shitty area on the border of New Jersey, and what, Baltimore?
Philly.
Oh, Philly.
It's right.
Yeah,
it's like literally right across the bridge from Philly.
That's what it is. Yeah, so it's a total shit area, the best of both worlds. That day was cool because I ended up playing Pokemon Go, and I stumbled into another band playing it, and I ended up hanging out with 4 Years Strong for a couple hours playing Pokemon.
You were probably
Go.
with Sean at some point then.
I totally ran
into him. In fact, I think you were, because we fucking like walked around. That group walked around the corner, and I seen him, and I think I seen you too. I don't remember exactly.
It was at the end of the day, and we basically
we were heading to the barbecue. Everybody was going to the barbecue.
So at the end of every night, there's a barbecue for all the bands, and it's where most band people socialize. It's not necessarily for crew members, even though they're invited. It's not for fucking drivers. We're supposed to be asleep. We're not as cool or as in tuned with the touring community as like a guitar tech. I have an opposite schedule as the band, so I didn't attend a single barbecue. It didn't seem cool to me. It didn't seem like my place, and I'd rather sleep.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's for band people.
It's the clickiest part, but even then, it's the clickiest part of Warped Tour. If you don't know anybody on the tour,
it's where
you're probably like unless you're like a complete social butterfly. Like Sean was the only one
of the barbecue. That's
every the only person in our band. Sean was the only person in our band that was like social enough. Like he'd go out to the barbecues and we'd be like, who the fuck? We gotta be hanging out with them. Like how the fuck? Like he just did that. Like I'm antisocial. So like if I get into like a big group, I'm like instantly like.
Our merch guy was
y'all smoke some weed like
at that fucking, I'll boot.
Syracuse, New York was also the day that me and Sean ate fucking lunch with Sean Mackin from Yellow Card and had no idea.
Oh,
it was dude.
I didn't meet any of them.
No, swear to God, check this shit out. So we're sitting there just bullshitting, like me and Sean are sitting there, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm looking down into my meal, just like, whatever. Like, guess I'm happy to be here. And then I had to, and then like 10 minutes before that, I had to convince somebody that I wasn't Keaton from Too Close to Touch. Because that was a running, and it was somebody on the tour. It wasn't like a fan or anything. It was somebody on the tour.
Shouts to Too Close to Touch because
I love
cool album, cool sound.
We actually like because they were an Epitaph band when we like with us, so like we kind of became cool with them, and like we had mutual friends. So shout out those dudes. I have some pretty fun stories about them on this tour. So what the fuck? Oh yeah, no, Syracuse. So we're sitting there eating after I convinced this dude that I'm not him. And what with me convincing that person
I'm just drunk.
Oh, I was gonna say
I lost my whole train.
I thought you got a notification that someone died, bro. You looked at us real quick,
bro. Like I didn't even know she was sick.
Oh,
I don't think she knew, son. I don't think she knew.
I don't think she did either. So anyway, so this person's like, hey, can I sit down? Because can I sit here with you guys? We're like, yeah, sure. And like, we didn't really have any like it was all just like real general conversation. Like, oh, how's the tour? Oh yeah, shows are good. Oh, that's cool. Like, never asked like, oh, so who you out with? Because if he'd have been like, oh yeah, I'm playing Yellow Card, I'd have been like, what? Like, I don't just threw my food and looked up like, wait, what the fuck? Why are you sitting here? Like,
dude, there were a bunch of days when I would eat breakfast or lunch
it was
with
crazy.
Someone in a band, and it's like I don't care how big of a mark I am. It's like I stumbled into it and knew the driver for Velamaya, and so I hung out with them a few times. And like that's how I know Lucas was a really cool dude. Mark is cool. Mm-hmm. There was a couple days when Mark would wear a name tag sticker on his shirt that said, "Hi, my name is Mark." And I don't know what the point of it was. I never got the joke, but I don't know Mark Okubu at all, but I want to because he seems like a really fucking cool dude. He seems like the type of dude that would have all the coolest video games, all the coolest tech, and just knows like a bunch of sweet-ass inside jokes. Am I right?
Also, I'm looking at I don't know who he is. What else do we have after Camden? Oh, Wantagh, New York.
Oh, I got stories for this. Okay, all right.
Dude. Okay, so this was one of my favorite days on the tour, strictly because it was the only nice weather day on the
cold
tour.
day on the whole motherfucking tour.
So I get out, like we pull up, and like I see people getting out of the van, being like all excited and shit here. Like they're all just like way into it, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I open the door and I just feel that brisk air, and I just go, yes! Like. I'm pulling jackets out. Like I got all of this shit. Like I'm ready to go.
Only cold day.
The only day.
Tour.
Yeah. It was beautiful, man. It was a great day. I don't have anything else besides that. It was just incredible.
The only story I have is
that's a beautiful moment.
Catering that day.
Being excited about the weather. That's a beautiful moment.
I ate a bunch of cookies,
especially out there.
Day. Someone caught a Blastoise, and it gave everyone the impression that if you're closer to water, you could catch water-type Pokemon. Still don't know if that's true to this day because we're stupid. But I definitely was in the bathroom taking a long-ass dookie, and they had just sprayed the whole bathroom down. It was covered in water, and I caught a Squirtle on the toilet. So that was kind of cool. After Wantagh, we did Connecticut. That was the day Paris played. Amazing performance, still an amazing band.
Yeah, it was great.
That band should be so much bigger than they are. They made such a good record the last time around. Like, damn, they're great. Scranton, Pennsylvania. And this is where I don't know for sure if it's this date, but I'm pretty sure this is where it started to get introduced that those two girls would start showing up at dates. Okay, so it doesn't matter if they're nameless or not, Amanda and Caitlin. But
God!
So we do Scranton, Pennsylvania. We do Mansfield, Massachusetts. Then we do Darien, New York. The only reason I remember Darien, New York, is because it's directly next door to a former Six Flags that lost licensing because a disabled veteran with one leg fell out of a roller coaster to his death during a live radio broadcast. And Six Flags sold the park. It's now just Darien Lake, whatever. Tallest roller coaster in New York. Rode that like 4 times. Got free admission to the park with your laminate.
Yeah.
Saw Ronnie Radke at the park. Looked miserable as shit, carrying a stuffed animal he had won.
So I need to walk you through this day for me. So Warped Tour 2011. He said he had to go pee. Yeah, he just got up in the sofa. He said, "Look in the private chat. It says I might pee here in a minute." So yeah, we got a private chat. Fuck with us. So Warped Tour 2011, Warped Tour 2012. There was the laminate. We didn't have a laminate. It was wristbands. So we didn't get to go to the park. Now, I also at this point didn't know if it was a real thing. Like it was just this like warped urban legend of like, hey, if you go to Limited, you get into the park.
You get into this park for free. When you do Cincinnati, you get into this water park for free. The worst water park ever.
I didn't know that, and that's fine because I wouldn't have went anyway because that water park looked like ass.
Full of piss.
Yeah, so
piss in my ass.
16. So we get to the thing. I straight up tell my band, I said, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I'm not going to be at merch much today. Because if this is real, and I'm assuming that it is because everyone else seems to know, that if I can go to this amusement park for free and just walk in and out because I have a laminate. Sorry, I'm rock star in this shit today. Like, y'all ain't gonna fucking see much of me. So I walk up to the gate.
But it's like you have no perks and nothing else to do. Like
there's no lines. It's basically a private fucking park for the tour. Like, yeah, no, I'm going like I'm literally going to ride Ned Steel
roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Wow, you suck.
Did that happen? Did that happen?
Yeah, I guess. So
that day.
No, not that.
No, it didn't happen that day.
It used to be a Six Flags, but after a one-legged disabled veteran fell out of the roller coaster to his death, they got rid of the Six Flags licensing.
So I walk up to the table at the gate. There's 2 people sitting there. And what the fuck? Get me out of here. So I go up to him and I'm just get me out of here. I literally I slam my hand down on this table and I look at him and I go, let me get this straight. I got this laminate right here, and I can just go in here for free. And they were like, yeah. And I go, and you're not fucking with me. They're like, nope. I was like, sweet. And they go, have a good time.
That reminds me.
Dog. I was lit. I was like, let's go.
I went into one of the Florida dates with a handful of weed because I was like, oh, they want to check my pockets today. No one ever checks my pockets. So I reach in there and I got a bunch of weed. So I hold it in my hand and I'm like, all right, cool. And they go, open your hand. I'm like, I'm going to walk back to my bus. And I just went back there, dumped the weed and came back in. They searched the shit out of me. I just wanted to poo. It was fucking awful. Shouts to them because they hella let someone else in with weed, set it off. So we do these Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Darien, New York. That's the only thing I remember, dude. Like, I was so miserable, and I knew I had so many dates ahead of me that I was like, I'm just going to keep riding this roller coaster until I feel the need I need to go to bed. And I just rode it over and over and over, and then I went straight back and went to bed, dude. That was it. That was the end of my night. Then we're off to Pennsylvania. We did Columbia, Maryland.
You got free Permanis that day.
Oh man, yeah. Yo, Permani brothers, amazing.
Shout out Tony's girl brought you fucking. I was like, hey, I need a guest list.
Right, I had to pay someone for Permanis. I forgot all about.
Yeah, because that's so shout out Matt and Ghost Town because. So Pittsburgh is obviously a big day for me coming home, like getting to play Warped Tour.
Pittsburgh Steelers
in my hometown.
Britt Baker, Ben Roethlisberger.
So like that was cool. So he hooked me up with fucking guest list spots that day. It was love for sure. Shout out Ghost Town for doing that. Bird.
Mark
dude, oh my
so
god, that's
loud.
like Bird. That's such a stressful day. Like. As soon as I get out of the van that day, like it's instantly just like everyone's hitting me up like, hey, where's parking? Hey, how do I get in here? Hey, can you come grab this? I'm just like, can y'all fuck off for like an hour? I'm doing something.
What's like up when I go to my hometown, I don't get that. And it's kind of like, man, my friends are like fucking shitty. So I'm just like, whatever. You said that about like someone brought me Permani, and I remember pulling it out of the bag and the sauerkraut. And it was fucking tremendous. It wasn't super warm, but I still inhaled it. Oh man, Brian, when you go, one day we're gonna go to Pittsburgh for no reason, just to eat Permani and sheets.
How far is Pittsburgh from
there? You go.
From here, like 3,000 miles,
like a day drive.
No big deal.
Let's get it.
There's absolutely nothing to do there.
So yeah, so we're at July 15th. It was like that was our we're coming on our last week. That was
sad time.
Yeah, was a day.
Here's one of the best stories, okay, and I'm gonna keep this real brief. All right, so we do Homedale, New Jersey. I had a hot ass chick named Savannah come out and see me that day, and nothing happened, and I don't talk to her anymore. Noblesville, Indiana. That was the day that you would get your bandwagon fixed because you're the closest to their headquarters. And then the beautiful day in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. This was like the most confusing venue to get to. It was in the fucking woods, man. A lot of bandwagons got lost. Like had to back.
Wait, which one was this?
Cuyahoga Falls. This.
Oh yeah, Blossom.
That Amanda and Caitlin showed up. Okay, so without getting too into detail, two girls that I had with this band, and we got completely, dude. Just met us like 6 dudes you'd never met before, and they're just sitting there. Totally fucking in Philadelphia. No. It was Cleveland Heights. They were stark naked back in 20. So I've known them for a while.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't even know, bro. This story makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
So these 2 girls come out. They have, history. They're known, whatever. Okay, so they come out, do their thing, whatever. I get in trouble the next day for inviting these girls. Okay,
of course you do.
Not just by my band. A memo gets sent to every band on Warped Tour, and it says not to guest list these 2 girls specifically, and it says their names, and it has pictures of them, and the reason it listed was disease and prostitution. It said the spread of disease and prostitution, because the girl was linking up with someone in Ice Nine Kills to sleep her way back to Florida, because she had already gone from Cleveland to Miami and back and wanted to go back. Did I mention they're strippers? Anyways, I didn't do a whole lot with them. A whole lot. But I know Jordan's merch guy definitely did. And that
oh my god.
Oh man, I should have warned him. I should have warned him, because I don't know if he caught something, but I can tell you for certain when Caitlyn linked up with Ice Nine Kills, okay, I was told that not to mess with her specifically. The tour manager for Ice Nine Kills hooked up with her, and the next day he had to leave the tour. He had to go to the hospital and get a growth removed from his throat. The story that they started telling on that bus was that it was from that girl, that he went down on her and got something. I don't think that's logical or possible. I think that's just a lie and a funny story. But that's the story that a bunch of dudes, of course, rolled with. And that was what was said. Plus the memo, it just got bad. So we tell Caitlyn this. You were there. Caitlyn goes, I'll just dye my hair and change my name. And I'm like, okay.
I was there?
You were standing there when she said it, because she was at your van. I wasn't allowed to bring them back to my bus anymore. And she was at your van because she had just done some stuff with your merch guy.
Oh my God. Said, I kind of fucking remember this now.
I'll just dye my hair and change my name. I think she had different IDs. You know, these girls are resourceful. And sure enough, they were banned, and she showed up at 2 more dates in completely different states.
I don't remember like things that were like said about like throughout that, but I do remember somebody saying like, I'll just dye my hair and change my name or some shit. I'd like vaguely remember that.
I will
but dude, those were just like, but those were the part that was a party night. That was a big party night.
2022 marks the launch of the I Hate the Scene Patreon, and I will tell the full story on Patreon behind a protected paywall about those 2 girls, because they are very interesting. We can protect their identities. They're fine. I'm pretty sure they don't mind. They love the gossip. So we did Cuyahoga Falls. After that, we did Cincinnati. That's where I mentioned Cincinnati. Shouts to you, because y'all motherfuckers must be miserable. It's not bad enough that you have the Bengals. Shouts to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase.
Joey B. Joey
Cincinnati
franchise.
Reds, and your town is shot as shit. You know how they say North Korea is fake and it's just a big city with no one in it? That's how I felt about Cincinnati. I went there. They had high rises, but no one was there. There was no one physically out in the streets. It seemed like Cincinnati as a city was as fake as fucking birds are. So we do the Cincinnati date, and it's literally like Cincinnati and then Kentucky on the other side of this river. It's the shittiest location. It's like a bunch of overpasses and then this shit ass water park. It had like 2 slides and a fucking like community public pool that everyone and their child has pissed in. I swear, I bathed.
That was our last.
That
was our last.
When I went to that willingly golden shower orgy.
If only, bro. I feel like that's a good experience in terms of other Warped Tour experience.
That's only because you like getting pissed on, dude. You got weird since you got married.
Oh my god!
I like getting.
Shouts to the Aria, because I only like getting.
Yeah, Cincinnati was always wild, because like every time that the 3 times that we did like the month like East Coast stints on Warped Tour, it always ended in Cincinnati. I don't know why.
I just want to apologize to the city of Cincinnati, not for what I said, because that's the truth. I want to apologize that you live there, and that you most likely won't find a way out of there unless it's Newport, Kentucky, which is like, what, 2 miles away? It's just like the worst fucking city, dude. Like, you play Madden, and you play as the Bengals.
Drunk Madden's
Chad
on
Johnson
Hinge.
And TJ Hushmanzada were on the team. And you think Cincinnati must be a real city because, like, people are there. But no, it's a shit city. And definitely no one would ever include it in their fucking plot of a movie to blow up the world. No one would ever plot to blow up Cincinnati, dude. Guaranteed. The best thing out of Cincinnati.
Go Steelers.
Best thing out of Cincinnati, John Moxley. All right, so we do Cincinnati. After that, we do Detroit. Check this out, bro. It was at the
I'm out at this point.
Palace.
Yeah,
Palace
fucking Jordan
Palace at the Palace, baby.
I
was driving my bitch ass home.
Jordan leaves and I get way more depressed, like a lot. So we do Detroit, we do Illinois outside of Chicago. I definitely remember making a Culver's run at that place. We did Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then we did Missouri. I for sure had my boy bring me some Miley. That was a good fucking day. You know what? That was essentially the St. Louis day. Like a lot of these days end up being suburbs or amphitheaters that are away from the city, and that was like the St. Louis day. So my homeboy, who's not friends with me anymore, the only guy that's ever broke up with me, fuck him. He broke my heart, bro.
You went up and visited with the job opportunity. That guy.
Yeah, no, he broke up with me, bro. So yeah, we were so cool at that time. He came out, brought some Miley. We hung out with Palais Royale on their bus because there's no drugs allowed on my bus, and that was a fucking fun day. But it only lasted a day. The next day we went to Kansas. All right, so I have a story about Kansas.
Bonner Springs.
We were like what, a mile away from Kansas Speedway. It's really weird because you're just in a parking lot at a lot of these places. It could be like the NRG stadium where the Texans play, but you're not in there. You're just in the parking lot because all the stages are built. And so Kansas was the same way. It's just a parking lot. You're like in the fourth overflow lot for the NASCAR track. Anyways, my bus and Falling in Reverse were the last to leave that day. We were it's Kansas. I remember this distinctly. We had this photographer. I'm not going to name her for realsy because I fucking hate her. She canceled one of the dudes in the band undeservingly. Fuck her. Dude gave her an opportunity to get her first tour and she stabbed him in the back. She would do this shit where she had a Polaroid camera and she would take a surprise picture of you. So it always ended up being something funny looking, and then she would put it on the wall of the bandwagon. You're on tour for 41 days, like dates of shows, like fucking 3 months. The wall fills up. So they're hanging out with Roddy Radke. And as a band, you can't kick him off the bus because it's like valuable to know and like affiliate with him or get a tour with him or a guest feature, whatever it may be. So everyone's kissing his ass. Our 18-year-old photographer that never toured before decides this is a good opportunity to get a surprise picture of Ronnie. So he's standing in the doorway to the bandwagon. She puts the camera in his face and takes the picture. Ronnie goes, blinded, and falls out of the bandwagon. Hits his back on the retractable step to the bandwagon.
Like dramatically?
Dramatically. I'm in the front, and it feels like an earthquake. I asked what happened. About 15 minutes later, someone told me Ronnie fell. I get the whole story. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I see Ronnie tumbled outside. She did a surprise picture, and he fell out the fucking bandwagon. So that was Kansas. Utah was the most random, shitty location. Shouts to Justin Jack. He came out to that day. When I did the drive from Utah to Colorado, then back to New Mexico, between Utah and Colorado, I took an Adderall. I'll never take them again. I got fucking meth sick and threw up all day. Could have had fucking hot-ass anal with some random chick I met on Tinder, and I was throwing up like 8 times a fucking hour, so I couldn't do it. So yeah, shouts to that random chick with colored hair that wanted to get butt fucked. After Colorado, we went to New Mexico. Should I just boot myself? I'll just.
What a fucking dumb. Listen, this is how the
man
show
is unhinged.
Listen, I know, and hey, it's been beautiful. This is how the show was warmed up.
Fellas, dude.
This is how the show was. This is perfect. This is how the show was warmed up for me. Hey man, we're gonna be talking about Warped Tour 2016. We need to have some topics. Cool. We open the show with Matt. We're gonna cover it day by day, and we just off to the races. So listen, you guys, beautiful. But Matt, you're by yourself on the tour at this point. Listen, you changed hats. You've changed hats. You're clearly off.
I changed all my clothes. Dude. I changed my underwear.
You're clearly off your fucking rocker. Did you change shirts? Let me see your shirt. What shirt are you wearing? No, you didn't change shirts. You're fucking still there. So, listen.
So we did Colorado. I threw up a lot that day. Didn't get anything done.
I'm about to throw up a lot. Jordan's yawning for the 5th time in 12 seconds. He's yawned 5 times in 12 seconds.
Yeah, I need to wake up.
We go to New Mexico, and it's a hot air balloon festival, and we go out there. I link up with a couple other drivers. Someone from Maston Schroeder has like 100 proof Texas whiskey. And I'm like, sure, that sounds cool. And so I had hit a dispensary in Colorado. So I'm passing around this like blunt that's like laced with wax or a snake, something, exotic, because I spent a lot of money on it. It's like a $20 joint or blunt or whatever. I'm passing that. Someone else is passing a regular one, and we're all taking big swigs out of the bottle. I was only awake for a maximum of an hour and a half that day. When we arrived, I went into a trailer, did all that, drank that, smoked that, and just passed out until the end of the night. I woke up and everyone's bandwagon was slowly leaving like fucking escape pods, and I got up and hit the road, and that was it. After that, we go to San Diego to start the California run. This is where Waka Flocka Flame joined us. You would think that would be cool. His performances were absolute dog shit.
Oh my god.
The crowds were cool because they were hype, but he was absolute fucking Campbell shit, dude. It was bad. That shit they lit on fire during Knotfest, Waka sounded worse than that. It was bad. I remember pulling up at Qualcomm, and like there was a bunch of cops, and I'm like high all the time. So I'm at a stoplight, and I'm smoking a bowl, trying to light it, air conditioner blowing on me. I'm like, motherfucker, trying to get away from it. And someone hits the horn. I look over. It's a red pickup truck, but it's a cop driving it, telling me to go because it's a green light. And he's towing a trailer. What it was, there was a cop that was like murdered brutally that week, and they were having his service at Qualcomm. So half the park was that, and the other half was Warped Tour. So I'm high as shit, and this dude is like, motherfucker, you need to go, yelling at me. I'm like, what's your problem? I just drove like fucking 6 hours. Like, fuck you, dude. And I'm looking at all these cops. I'm like, damn, dude, all this for Waka? This is a lot.
All this for Waka?
Oh man, I spent those last couple days, like California days, just not giving a fuck about anything. All right, so we did New Mexico. Dude, Phoenix was the most random day. Shouts to my buddy Daniel Scott from COD. He came out, saw him, brought some bud. Dude, it was at a random place called like Fear Farm or some old haunted house that was obviously not a haunted house in August. And we had it was just the ugliest, smallest venue for Warped. And I'm pretty sure like it was one of those places they were going to mark off and never go back to. So yeah, did that.
They did that with all of them.
Mountain View. Shouts to the dude who looks like Rob Schneider that used to be in Secrets. Hung out with him, smoked with him. He hella did, bro. And that's what I called him. Like when I met him, he said he looked like Rob Schneider. I interviewed the band, I called him that, and then when I met him again, like 6 years later, I'm like, Rob Schneider. I went to Benihana with like 3 other drivers that day and like got shit-faced, ate the best fried rice of my life. Had sushi, sake, Japanese beer, and stir fry, and passed the fuck out. And don't remember anything else from Mountain View. Then we did Pomona, classic. I rode a longboard that Set It Off provided me a lot that day because I was really fucked up and hated life. I basically was trying to get away from my band every day. I didn't want to be around them. I was miserable. After what we did Vegas, that was, God, I was not proud of myself that day. Sex with a random chick that I only knew for like 10 minutes. Did some cocaine that I bought off a dude named Bacon. I thought that was a setup for Pig and Cops, but it wasn't. So Vegas was cool. Then we did Nampa in Idaho, which is outside of Boise. That Justin Jack came out to that. Dude, Justin Jack, shouts to him. His chick hated him.
Going to every random fucking date
was so fucking miserable. Yo, shout shouts to the taqueria across the street from the
shouts to the
Idaho
taqueria.
Fairgrounds.
Okay,
this is a big shout out.
This fucking podcast is off the fucking rails. Shout out to the taqueria.
Shout out to the chimichanga I had at the taqueria in Nampa.
In Nampa, fucking wherever.
Hey,
Idaho.
To be fair, the episodes that get off the rails like this usually end up being the best ones. So,
all right,
check it out. We're winding down the rails here, okay? We go from Nampa to
winding down something, that's for sure.
Portland. Portland's the final day. I just wanted everyone off my bus, bro. Everyone. It's like a couple people flew home, and as soon as I got rid of that piece of shit unnamed TM Nick Turner, oh my god, his fucking meth head cousin, I was ready to get rid of them. They were gone. I just dipped back home, bro. I drove straight from Portland to fucking Palm Springs and drove Kevin all the way home.
Yep, I would have too.
And then you had to drive all the way back to Indianapolis.
Yep. And then he said, "Hey, bro, you can spend the night." And I said, "Nope,
I'm heading home."
I drove to Phoenix. I linked up with the driver for the Word Alive, my buddy Dylan, and I had taught him everything I knew about bandwagons, everything I knew about touring. I got a free Monster hoodie, some Word Alive merch that I did what everyone should do with that and threw it out the fucking window. And then we hit the road, and dude, we drove like 33 hours straight just off of fucking cafe latte, Vita Coco, coconut water, cafe lattes, and weed just all the way, bro. When we got to St. Louis, we did so much blow, we should have fucking died. And then we hit the road.
We should have died.
We should have fucking died in the parking lot of Pops. I'm not going to lie.
Fucking fear and loathing in St. Louis over here. Like,
yeah. So for a while, I had a friend in St. Louis. The guy I mentioned that broke up with me. I would stop off in St. Louis because it's near Bandwagon, and I would party and celebrate the end of tour. Because you feel, with Warped Tour especially, you feel like you just accomplished, like you finished boot camp. You know, like you can take this anywhere and be like, are you a good driver? I don't know. I did the entire Warp 2016. Okay, we'll hire you. And that's how it went from there on in. It was like, this was my like proving ground. I did the entire thing. I didn't bitch out. I hated it. I was underpaid. I did the whole motherfucking thing. I got done. I got out. And like, all I got to show for it is pictures with random people I don't know. The guy on the right, I only knew that day. The dude on the left is my buddy, but I've never seen the dude on the right ever the fuck again.
Ever the fuck again.
Ever the fuck again. That was in Vegas, so definitely high on cocaine in the picture. Shouts to all these fucking awesome live performances, these stupid stages they had to build every day. It was just a motherfucker, dude. And you realize, you know, I had wondered for years, what's it like to tour? Hit city by city to city. You know, when I started the podcast and me and you rekindled our friendship from our beef, I told you a story about This Is the Hospital. And you said that should have been the story about our band. And you got involved with the podcast and shit. I always wondered what it would be like to tour because I never got to do it in your band, in the other band, in anyone's band. We never got to tour. We never got to really hit the US and tour. And I had completely given up on it. I had just accepted that it was never going to happen because the band didn't pop off. And when I started getting these offers, it became like fucking crazy. Like this became a reality. Like Warped Tour became a real thing. And I'm glad I got to do it.
You got it in such a different capacity though, too. You know, like you said, you didn't do any of the band shit. You didn't do any of the barbecues.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you did with the Monopoly. You did get to play, but that wasn't the full experience as a band.
Yeah, I got to play the one day. I'm super thankful that ever happened because we did not deserve it. But like, just being able to do Warped Tour, whatever capacity, like I'm opposite schedule as a driver. So when the band's playing, I'm asleep. When the band's partying, I'm like asleep or waking up. Yeah. I don't party.
Yeah, but even
I'm partying in the daytime. That's why I got hammered at 11 a.m.
Yeah, but even then, like you were still coming out and like watching us. Like you were coming out and watching us like a bunch. Like you were like you were going out and watching all your friends and stuff. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were still going out and showing love, and like that was cool as fuck. Like that, you know, just to like see, like, you know what, you're out here working your ass off, like harder than honestly the drivers is working harder than damn near everybody. If you want to be real about it, like
we get to cut the line in catering because
job.
We have to go back and go to bed quick enough. You know, we can't wait 2 hours in catering lines. But I mean, dude, that Full Sail stage y'all were on had all the sick ass bands, and it's just like I have free admission every day. You know, I can't just walk by the stage, go get my yogurt, and go to bed. You know, Avion Rose playing, Silent Planet's playing, fucking Hail the Sun's playing. I got to stop and watch this. Hail the Sun won me over. Like, I bought their CD, I bought your CD. I still have it somewhere.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of good bands.
That's one more than I have.
I never thought I'd ever do Warped Tour in any capacity ever.
Yeah, man. It's crazy too. Like that shit, like and that was the thing. Like when I was out, like I mean, even in the first times that we went, like I still tried to make sure like I went out and watched bands, like whether they were like big ones or my friends. Like I still made it a point to go do that because, like, man, I'll tell you what thing that really bummed me out about Warped Tour, and if anybody else can back me up on this shit, I would very much appreciate it. But I remember going to Warped back in the day, and you remember seeing all the like backstages, like they were all filled with like other band members, and like it was always just like it was so packed up. And like you really felt like there was this real sense of like camaraderie, and like everybody was hanging out and stuff. And like as the years went on, like you didn't see any of that really. Like you saw it occasionally, sometimes here and there, depending on like the size of the act. And like as you know, going out there, like I was just like, man, I'm gonna still participate in that because like that was my favorite thing about it is like everybody really did seem like they was homies and they was friends. Like I just never got that vibe in the later years. So like I was just like a big person on trying to keep that vibe alive.
You're right. And I felt like there's kind of a divide.
And it was hard to make friends on that way. Like
there's a little bit of a divide
and
like a class system. When you park, there's vans, there's bandwagons, and there's buses. I mean, you could very easily be a bus band, and say like, okay, we're Sum 41. We're not going to fuck with anyone. And that's exactly what they did. Those guys rode their electric motorized scooters to the stage and to their bus. They sent their TM, their catering. He brought it back. You never saw them otherwise. I don't know if that's because they have private lives, they're with their fucking families every day, or they're doing some other shit, or they're just asleep. But, you know, they didn't socialize with anyone, so I don't really have anything good to say about you.
Yeah,
there's a big divide in that shit. Like I felt more comfortable being around, like, Assuming We Survive, I think, was in a van. I don't have a problem like talking to those guys, or like being on Too Close to Touch.
But they were all really, they were all solid. Like Assuming We Survive was all solid. Like I mean, Too Close to Touch, same thing, man. Like
I was on Against the Currents bus, and it's like, yo, your bus is nicer than our bandwagon, and like y'all are 18. This is your first tour in a bus. Y'all are crazy.
Christy Costanza almost smashed my face with a door in Noblesville.
She's cute and super rude.
I was trying to walk out of there, and it was just like, dude, it was almost like a movie where it was just like.
I feel like I was just like a lot of females on that tour were really fucking rude, and it's like, man, what happened? What happened to you that you were so rude to everybody? I
mean, bro, like honestly, I'm not even saying this about anybody, but just like there's just a lot of people that got to like the height of that, like the headliner, the Warped Tour, like the big bands on the tour, and like there was like this huge fucking ego for some reason, and it was just like, why?
I know someone.
Like outside of this thing, like who the fuck are you? Like,
I know one for sure. Kellen Quinn. I saw the dude behind a cage fence near his bus. Fans spotted him, and the dude ran the fuck away. I seen him run away from fans. I never saw him smile once on that entire tour. I don't know what his deal was, dude.
I don't know.
Something's off with that dude. I don't know what the story is, but there was definitely like a classist system. Like I was on Too Close to Touch bandwagon. I didn't feel out of place because it's like I'm on a bandwagon too. You kind of feel equal. You know, they're cool dudes. I felt like I could talk to them.
They were solid, like, all of them.
Sum 41, Yellow Card. Those guys don't really associate with people. Then you have the Madden brothers from Good Charlotte. Dude, Benji came out and bought out an ice cream truck that provided free ice cream to everyone backstage. He didn't have to do that. They weren't even fucking performing on a single day. That was my introduction to him. I was like, wow, thanks. You're cool as shit. I've seen you on MTV for years.
But it's cool when you see bands like that are still like, it's keeping that like family. Like I'll tell you this, and it's probably, you know, honestly, it's probably like you get close with everybody on your stage because you see them every day type shit, like in some capacity. So like the Maryland day, I want to say it was like Old Wounds' last day or something.
Probably.
And I remember everybody, I don't even really remember why exactly, but we all made it a point to go to the stage and watch them. Like everybody, just probably because it was their last day, but like everybody was like, we're meeting here to watch them. And like I remember all the bands were just like moshing, like just it was just like, dude, this is what this shit is all about. Like for real. Like not even on some corny shit. Like just the moments like this were like, you know, like I'll talk about it now. We'll talk, like if I seen them, we'd probably talk about it like you remember that shit was dope as fuck. Like,
did you go to the Warped Tour?
I guess I'm just corny. I don't know.
No, dude, those are good stories. Those are good vibes, dude.
No,
for sure.
Yeah, totally. Did you do the like little camping thing they had in Maryland the day before our show? It was like,
no.
Okay, you didn't miss anything, dude, because it was strange. It was just a bunch of bands kissing ass to Kevin Lyman and doing charitable work by picking up trash at this park that we were all like camping at for free. It was weird, man. I don't know.
I think that was the Pittsburgh day. I think the Pittsburgh day was before that, and yeah, it definitely was. So like we like stayed late and then got there like.
Oh yeah, it was yeah, because we did Burgettstown, Pennsylvania, and then we did Columbia, Maryland, which yeah, I know Bad Seed Rising had like that was like their hometown show.
Yeah. We ended up spending an hour at Sheetz.
I love Sheetz. Sheetz over Wawa any day.
Because you know that Sheetz is, you know, the Sheetz over like when you leave Burgettstown, like you go like it's like a certain direction you go, like there's like a Sheetz like right there on a fucking corner of an intersection. Shit's rad.
Is there any stories about Warped 2016 that we haven't covered in these 2 hours we've been live?
I hope not, bro.
Brian's just been along for the ride. This is the quietest he's ever been in my
man.
The whole time I've known him.
I applaud you for coming on the journey. I don't really have anything like. I mean, there's other just like random, just like shit that but like I'm not gonna put like blow up people's spot of like this person was so fucked up, blah blah blah. Like I'm, you know, like
exactly. Yeah. I'm glad that we came and talked about good shit. I'm glad we came and talked about good shit today.
I'm glad that I was able to be a part of it. I definitely thanked everyone that got me on board. You know, even though it wasn't ideal and I wasn't happy the whole time, it was something I look back on like I'm really happy and proud that I accomplished that I finished it, because it wasn't good, man. I could have quit at any fucking point. A week in, I told you I stopped having fun. You know, I could have quit at any point and that band would have never hired me. I would have looked shitty and I could have never told any other band, yeah, I did Warped. You know, I mean, dude, there was a fucking merch guy that I won't name, Cody Early, that stole a bunch of money from Dance Gavin and a bunch of other bands, and his bitch ass still got hired on that tour. So, like, man, everyone gets around. Warped. It was just.
So let's ask the $1 million question. With the recent resurgence in the punk, pop punk shit, if you want to get there, I guess, with Machine Gun Kelly, blah blah blah. Do we think it'll come back? Warped Tour will eventually make its return, and like we'll see that again?
Nothing.
If you asked me in 2019, I would have said for certain they would have figured it out in the coming years. But with the pandemic, and especially after Astro World, it just seems like there's some impossible hurdles to overcome for Warped Tour to ever come back as a full-time tour like it was.
I think the idea of it
wait, hold on.
Real quick. I think the idea of it being the weekend festival made sense. If you want it now, you can even do this. You can even do it in the summer and have it hit 1 or 2 East Coast spots, maybe here in Texas, maybe in Florida, maybe New Orleans, maybe hit a Colorado and then a West Coast. Maybe do 2 a month for 3 months, and you do like a summer festival series, right? Where you're hitting some major spots that people can go to. It's a 3-day thing, but I don't think you're getting a full-blown scaled national tour.
So basically, you're basically saying that they should like operate like Self-Help Fest. like have
do it
different cities and
like a Coachella,
that's how
like
all
a whatever
the festivals that's
but like Coachella's
the Rockville
nowadays.
Welcome to Rockville was
But they
3
do
days of like everything, right?
Chaos.
Warped Tour. I mean, and hey, you would have to branch out, and you would have to bring on a Machine Gun Kelly and probably in A Day to Remember, as well as probably some more
Nothing
populated
Nowheres
stars.
and shit like
Bring
that.
Me.
Like,
you're gonna have to, and it can't be Warped Tour. It's got to be a 3-day Warped Tour experience, right? Where they have all these bands and all these different types of features, but it's still the festival-esque portion of it. It's not Warped Tour. You still get the VIP section if you need it. You know, you still get the camping experience, the parking. And if anybody can pull off a 3-day weekend festival successfully, you would think it would be Lyman and his team, because he's done this for so long, right? They could do a 3-day weekend. They could do 2 a month for 3 months and do 6 in total over the course of the summer and pull it off probably successfully, right? And have a good turnout in each different spot that they do it. You could do Canada, you could do, all of North America, do one in fucking South America.
Here's the reason Warp stopped going to Canada. Bands got stopped at the border, searched.
I mean, now with COVID, it would be hard as well, because Canada is real strict with COVID.
COVID's changed everything, but like, there's a reason that like this was a really smart routing on behalf of Warped Tour, that the first date was in Dallas. So you've already passed all the checkpoints you're going to hit for the whole tour. So if you're going to run into legal trouble or get kicked off, it's going to happen before the tour starts rather than halfway through. The same goes for Canada. That's why they stopped going there. Bands like were getting denied at the border for a litany of reasons, and it wasn't happening. But if we're talking hypotheticals, if Warp was able to continue, no pandemic, it kept going, no financial trouble, I think Warped Tour would have run into a major problem with all the abusive, pedophile, rapey bands in the scene that have come out over the past couple of years that we fucking canceled. They would have all been booted off and at least brought bad publicity to the tour as a whole, because I could very well see 3, 4, 5, and it's spiraling, multiple bands on a Warped Tour getting accusations against them, allegations, anything, and then being canceled, getting bad publicity, bad press.
That's true.
That would be a major issue. It's something I want to address in a future episode.
It was already starting to happen.
Things.
That is true. It was
starting to happen. I mean, that front porch step shit was huge.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big thing. Like, dude, he got to play a day. Dude, that was a big thing. People were fucking pissed about that. I had some eyebrows raised. I was like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
That was a massive oversight. That was a massive oversight by fucking Kevin Lyman and the Warped Tour staff. That was bullshit that guy ever got to play.
I understand, like,
should be buried,
forgiveness and redemption and shit, but like, nah, man, you can't do that. Like, but hey,
I mean, and that's what we know about. I mean, like, the shit about like not issues, but volumes, like Gus taking a shit in a Walmart parking lot and them getting kicked off a day or two of Warped Tour. You don't hear about this shit. It's not announced by the band or the tour. It just happens. And then it's like, yo, where's volumes? Oh, their bus broke down, but their bus really didn't break down. They're like 3 cities ahead waiting for the tour. Like, that shit really happens. Like, they're not going to tell you. Like, a lot of times bands kick out dudes and it's,
they just keep a lot of shit in house.
Yeah, a lot of shit's in house. That's why I'm here, to spill it all. I think I've covered everything. As a whole, I'm glad I got to do it, but I would never do a Warped again if it was still a thing. That's for sure. I avoided offers that I got from Warped 17, and when Warped 18 came up, I don't even think I got an offer from those bands. I had pretty much moved into reggae, and they went and had their final one, and I was good with it. I didn't even attend it. I was good. I went to the
I didn't. Last one I went to, I think, was 18.
Yeah, I'm good.
17, one of those two.
16 was the last one that I went to.
Yeah.
Favorite set ever?
Oh, stop. Let's go.
Top 5 Warped Tour bands, go. Top 5 Warped Tour controversies. All right, what was the best year from 95 to now? What was the best year?
My first year was 2005, and I'll tell you the lineup. You ready? Atreyu played Avenged Sevenfold, Hawthorne Heights, Thrice, Story of the Year, Yellow Card, My Chemical Romance, Fallout Boy.
Pennywise plays every year.
Are you ready for this?
No.
In 2006, I went to the same venue. It was in Pomona, and that had Emery Thursday. There was also Motion City Soundtrack, a bunch of different bands.
Wow,
the closing band of the day was Zebrahead, so we stayed and fucking watched Zebrahead. Zebrahead fucking killed.
They gave me one of the craziest interviews ever back in 2008.
That's fucking hilarious. Adrian from Assuming We Survive is in Zebrahead now, and he's singing and plays guitar.
Yeah, dude. Zebrahead has cycled out a bunch of guys from other bands, but they're still kicking.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But check this out. As Zebrahead's playing, Zebrahead started, and I ended up going and watching them. But before Zebrahead plays, Chiodos was coming on. And this is 2006, so All's Well That Ends Well had been out for maybe a year. Yeah, maybe like a year it had been out at this time. And they had a crowd. They were on the Smart Punk stage.
Did you change your hat again?
This is back when Smart Punk, yeah, he did. This is back when Smart Punk had a stage. Remember Smart Punk?
Smart Punk stage, yeah. I remember watching
Smart Punk is a record label now.
The Smart Punk stage was literally a 3-foot risen stage off of the ground.
It was the Ernie Ball stage.
And an easy up tent. That's it. It was just a stage with like 2 easy up tents.
Battle of the Bands type shit, bro.
Yes. And they threw Chiodos in between their All's Well That Ends Well tenure and their Bone Palace Ballet tenure. They throw Chiodos on the entire tour on this Smart Punk stage. So I'm like, yo, I got to go check out Chiodos for a second. And I walk over, and I'm up on a hill and can see
that tent had to be
the Smart Punk stage.
Hot as
right?
Fucking smelled like BO.
I can see the Smart Punk stage because I have to be in the back because of how many people there are. There's a shit, and there's like another stage, and Reggie and the Full Effect were playing, and I'm in my head.
So many
holy shit!
So listen, it's California. Reggie and the Full Effect are playing, and it was when Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance was having to fill in with them for a while, right? And so in my head. I'm like, oh, fuck, they got to finish playing before the crowd over here disperses so I can get to Chiodos, right? And so I'm like making my way through. I'm like kind of, like fucking pushing. Reggie and the Full Effect, they finish. And I'm like, all right, people are going to go watch Zebrahead, Punk. There's other bands finishing. Like, it's going to clear out. Chiodos is going to be dope. But it's Chiodos. I saw Chiodos in 2005, mind you, in Palm Springs. They played with they played with Envy on the Coast at the Elks Lodge. They played with Envy on the Coast and the Fall of Troy. Yes, and our buddy Matt Claiborne in Jane Eyre played with them as well. Yes, and so
you can find that in the archives of the Matt Claiborne episode.
I had seen Chiodos play in front of like 100 kids, and so I was amped, dude. I was like, let's go. I'm ready for this fucking show. Reggie and the Full Effect gets done playing. We catch it. I'm like, cool. I hear the end of their set. And people like disperse.
Reggie and the Full Effect reminds me of also Babs and her Moneymakers that played multiple fucking Warped Tours.
Or like Big D and the Kids Table. Shit like that.
Perpetual Warped Tour.
Yeah. And so exactly. They're always there. Valiant Thor also played. Thor also fucking played in 2006 with Planes Mistaken for Stars. It was
go away.
Great. Such a great year.
Vagrant Records.
That might be the best year actually. So I'm at the stage between Chiodos and Reggie and the Full Effect. And Reggie and the Full Effect gets done playing, and I'm like near where the pit's going, right? And kids are fucking warming up. They're pushing kids, they're warming up. They're fucking getting ready, right? And I'm like, oh, dang, this is going to be intense. I turn around. The crowd for Reggie and the Full Effect never fucking left, bro. They just shifted and stood for Chiodos. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Reggie and the Chiodos Effect?
Yes. And so then check this out. Their fucking tour manager Ape comes out, right? That was his whole thing. He would come out and he would introduce them. He'd give them like this long intro fucking induction. He comes out and the entire fucking crowd loses their fucking shit, bro. They're just screaming at the top of their lungs. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is absolute bananas. So he introduces them and they fucking play like, did you guys ever see Requiem for a Dream?
Get to the point.
Did you guys ever see Requiem for a Dream?
No.
Okay, Clint Mansell at the end of the movie, there's this song that plays out, and it's by this artist. His name's Clint Mansell. And it's like this orchestrated thing, right? So they start playing that. Craig Owens, there's a fucking picture of Craig Owens on top of the crowd at a Warped Tour, and he's literally in like on a sea of a fucking 1,000 or more fucking kids, right?
Mhm.
And he's standing. That is from this set. They fucking play that intro, and he walks out and gets on top of the crowd, and they come out and they start playing The Words Become Best Friends, right? The words best friends become redefined.
Yeah.
Dude, the place was bananas, bro. And they were on the fucking Smart Punk stage. And I was like, this is 2006. And I was like, what is going on right now? And it had been the craziest thing. And you know, Warped Tour is always when you get the fun shit. You get the fun stage antics. You get Homeboy from the Used jumping off the amplifiers into the crowd. You get the crazy As Lay Dying circle pits around the sound booths. You get the crazy shit, right? For them to come out and for him to just fucking get on top of the crowd like he was the king of the fucking world. And dude, it was fucking intense. It was something to be a part. It was fucking intense. It was just
I bet those As LA Dying crowds used to kill people.
Oh, dude, As LA Dying, this is right at like YouTube time. It was like 2008. I know. So pissed. He's so pissed. But hey, motherfucker, you asked for this. You wanted Warped Tour stories? You're getting them. In 2008 at the Warped Tour, As LA Dying was talking about YouTube. And they were like, yo, have you guys been on YouTube? And everyone was like, yeah. And so he's like, I want you guys to put up the world's biggest circle pit. We don't know if it probably wasn't, right? And he got everybody to run around both sound booths of the main stages because the other band hadn't played yet. The other band hadn't.
That's never happened before.
Dude, yeah, it has. But anyways, it was fucking dope, bro. It was fucking dope. It was.
It is cool when that shit happens.
Oh, can I tell you my greatest Warped Tour experience of all time too? By the way, I'll tell you my single-handed greatest.
Oh, come on! We've talked for like an hour and 45 minutes. Let him have his moment.
Here is my single-handed. I went with our boys Luke Erickson and John Gaylor. Shout out Luke and John. And we had all bought matching T-shirts in the crowd or in the parking lot beforehand, and they were just white shirts with black print on it, and the print said T-shirt. That was it. Just a T-shirt all over the place. And so we had bought these matching T-shirts. This was 2007, probably the best lineup of all time. Drop Dead Gorgeous, Bless the Fall. Drop Dead Gorgeous, Bless the Fall. We had fucking Shark People Eat Shark Clothes. What was that? What was that fucking?
I Am Ghost.
Chiodos Again. Coheed and Cambria. A shit ton of bands. So we're watching Circus Survive.
Good night, Sniper.
And for whatever reason, we decide that we're gonna fucking have circle pits. Now, this was one of the final stops of the tour. Earlier in the year, we had gone to another tour, and Anthony Green told my buddy John to suck his dick. He was like, yo, you in the crowd. And my buddy was on my buddy's shoulders, and he was like, yeah, you on his shoulders. And my buddy's like, what? And Anthony Green goes, suck my dick. And my buddy John was like, bring it. And anyways, so then we're like, we got to see Circus Survive again. We have to see them again. It was a fucking great time. Obviously, it's fun. So
good.
I don't know. So there's circle pits opening up for whatever reason for Circus Survive. And all of us are matching, right, in T-shirts. So he stops and he's like, or in between songs, Anthony Green goes, hey, you guys in the matching T-shirts, I want you to start 3 separate triangle pits. I don't want circle pits. I want triangle pits. And we're just like, what? And so we like start 3 triangle pits. It doesn't work, right? It lasts for literally 10 seconds. But after the fact, that song's over, he's like, hey, you guys did it. Great job. And he takes a sip of his Monster Energy drink and he chucks it in the crowd, right? I catch it. It comes right to me and I catch it. And he goes, oh shit, you caught it. And I like put my hands up, everybody's clapping, right? And he goes, throw it back. So I throw it back at him, right? And I give it a good like hearty chuck, right? And it's going towards the stage, but if he's gonna catch it, I don't know. But it's going towards the stage. This security guard fucking comes out of left field, dude, and swats this monster can out of midair. Like fucking just whack. Like he was fucking intercepting a goddamn pass for a fucking Super Bowl ring or some shit, right?
It's amazing.
Anthony Green turned on this motherfucker so quick. He goes, "You motherfucker," like jokingly. But he was like, "How dare you boo this man?" And had everybody in the crowd just boo this poor security guard, dude. I felt so bad. He was fucking booing the security guard because he fucking swatted this. And it was great. It was a touching moment.
My favorite performances would definitely be the back-to-back Suicide Silence in Whitechapel in 2010, and then the back-to-back Bring Me the Horizon and Chiodo's performances in 2013. Brian, where can they find you?
Brian of Death, Instagram and Twitter. The Common Chaos on Instagram and Twitter, and But Love and Brian on I can't. We
never utilize it enough. Make sure you follow both Twitter accounts because you won't hear me blow up Emarosa and their piece of shit pedophile vocalist's solo rollout unless you follow me. Make sure you follow us at Instagram, where I'm also blowing up the rollout for Emarosa's pedophile vocalist's piece of shit solo work. Instagram is at iHateTheScene, Twitter at Scene Radio. Find us every motherfucking Friday at 10 Central, our time, 11 p.m. Eastern Jordan's time, or 8 p.m. Central for Justin, Jack, and Justin Case's time. Figure it out. All right? Follow the characters on this show, know the inside jokes, and understand that Brian kicked me out of his band
twice. Kicked him out twice.
It was like 4 fucking times. It felt like forever. Follow us at all these links: youtube.com/c/iHateTheScene, facebook.com/ you know what? Facebook some hoes. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. Eat my asshole from the back twice.
From the back, bitch.
Follow me on Tidal. Hey, what was that fucking Trump platform? Parler. Follow me on Parler. Still got a Parler account. Yeah. You follow me on there. I'm the one with the big Black Lives Matter banner. No one befriends me on that shit. So holla at your boy. This was Warped Tour 2016. We will be bringing you more story time, including One Night in Dallas, my time with Dance Gavin Dance. Woo! What a story. Probably going to do an after-school special on abusers in the scene and why we can't have nice things. And what else do we have in store, Brian? Did we ever book that Condoleezza Rice interview?
No, unfortunately. Unfortunately, her people don't feel like it's necessary to respond to our people, and I don't know what they mean by our people, but I'm offended.
You gotta ask.
You mean you people?
And I plan on filing legal suit. But
well, you're gonna have to send in the big guns. Ask Jamie to write the email.
Jamie, this kind of a bitch. He's still not.
That is true.
God damn it. Should I play what's
you never show about?
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna play What's again. He's fucking.
Just use that as a sound. That's just a sound clip. Like anytime
our first sound clip. That's our first sound clip when somebody says something. Wow. That's just fucking wow. And you can you can even get real legit.
And that's another reward for Wetzel.
Have it pop in the corner, old Mortal Kombat style. Wow.
You got now. Yeah, wow. You gotta. Exactly.
You
gotta make a video
integration, and we'll be good to go. Catch me out on tour on Colorado on the West Coast, folks. Any last words before we get out of this 2-hour podcast? Our third longest ever.
No, yeah, fucking long kiss goodnight and swallow some bullets.
About a tour from fucking 5 years ago.
An irrelevant one at that.
That was like a fucking the most emo. It was like a funeral for a friend album title. Whatever you just said, Brian.
This is the most self-involved episode ever. I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize. That's the wrong fucking video. And we're back.
Oh, stop!
I'm just kidding.
Stop.
I quit. I was fucked.